Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey everyone, welcome in. It is a hot one here in Florida today. Woo! I'm just trying to cool off. Good to see all of you here. Evil exists. Hello. Love Evil exists. Welcome to the chat, Evil. Good to see you. Good to see all of you guys today. Let me know if the audio is good, if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Hello, Natalie. Good to see you. Good to see you, Myron. I have missed you. Barb, good luck with the move. Hello, Olive Juice, Olive, and One-Eyed Flo. Terry Lynn is in the house. Terry Lynn is prepping for her daily search for Sebastian Rogers. Can we give Terry Lynn some props for what she's doing out there? I always miss you too, Myron. It's not the same when you're not in chat. It's not the same. Hi, Micro Kimmy and Nursey Kins, Erica. Pale Rider, we've got Baby D in the house. You guys are all hot in Texas. I know that. Oh, let me get my... Today we're going to be going over interview number 4. Baby D.
Baby D.
Yeah, it's hot. Hey, Rita from the UK. Dapper's here. Maui. Good to see all of you guys. If I missed you, hello, hello. Good to see all of you. We are going to be going over some interview number 4. This is the second time that the Proudfoots were on Duchess. I told him to go to bed, and he did. It's been one hell of a day, guys. So I've been up since early this morning, and I actually have a little story. I joined my first YouTube channel today. For the first time ever, I bought a membership to another YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Myron. Thank you. That is so generous of you. I appreciate that. But anyways, I was in there. I got attacked, long story short, because I didn't tell anybody this, and I should have kept my mouth shut. But, you know, we do things investigating behind the scenes, if you will. And, you know, we've been looking at all the players in Sebastian's case, and it's always good to get input from other family members, you know, like when I reached out to the Bauer Sox and the Proudfoots to see if they had any statement to make about their missing step grandson. Right? And they literally said no. They don't have anything to say. And I thought that was really telling. Not that they have to talk to me, but, you know, they had no statement. So anyways, Katie Proudfoot, from what we know, had foster parents from the age of 12 on. And you would think that that would be an important part of her life, of her family, so to speak. So we asked if they had any comment, and they said no. Well, all hell broke loose in this chat room that I crossed boundaries by asking them for a statement and yada, yada, yada. I don't know how that crossed a boundary because all I did was ask if they had a statement and if they, had any concerns or anything they'd like to voice. And they said no. And I left them alone, just like I did when I reached out to the Bower Sox. If you don't ask, you don't know. You never know if they want to say something. Maybe they would say, yeah, we do have something to say. You never know. You never know. And when they said no, I did not push the issue or anything like that. But I mean, I literally joined this chat because I like the creators' opinions. And, I didn't say anything naughty to them like, oh, hey, did you know that, she was with Seth, da, 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 da. Nothing like that. Just, hey, are you Katie Payne's foster mother? Yes, I am. Do you have anything, any statements? My name is Jay. I have a podcast. We're covering Sebastian's case. Do you have anything you want to say? That's it. They said no. And that's cool. But if you don't ask, you'll never know. And someone in there said, I have a journalist's degree, and what you did is very out of line. Whatever. But the same people probably flocked to hear Nina's stories about minors. Crimes, I wish they didn't either. I didn't. I was just trying to say, because everyone, well, not only that, everybody's been saying that Robin Rogers was her foster mom. And that showed, I was like, God, I just can't believe that Seth's mom was her foster mom. So I looked into who the foster mother was, and I was like, okay, it's not Robin Rogers. I can tell you that. So at least we can put that baby to bed that, Katie was not put into the care of Robin Rogers, because that was a rumor that has been circulating for a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't even know these people. Right. No, I don't. I don't have time to watch all these creators. And when I see someone that I like their opinion, I like them. And I take people at face value until they show me not to. But I mean, nothing against the creator. It was just that chat was just, I don't know, man. I like her. I just didn't like how the chat came at me like that. I was like, wow. Yeah, it was. It was bad. But whatever. It is what it is. I just wanted to explain before it gets misconstrued that all I did was reach out with a text, asked if that's who they were. They confirmed who they were. I asked them if they wanted to speak, and they said no, and I honored that, and I would. And that was it. Thank you, Terry Lynn. And I love you too. And I thank you for always being kind to me. And I didn't even put it on my channel. They were like, oh, yeah, you're doing that for clicks and views. It's like, what? I never even told anybody that I even did that. So how am I doing it for clicks and views? I'm not going to make a video out of screenshots of their texts. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here's Katie's foster parents telling me no. That's clicks and views, y'all. I would have never, and I should have never said anything. I should have never said anything. But live and learn, live and learn. That's why I stay right here in my J is for Justice bubble with y'all. So, hello, R. Taylor. Hello, Helen. Good to see you. Cray Cray. I know, I saw you. I saw you there. Thanks for defending me there, guys. That was nice of you. You didn't have to do that, but I just think that they love to have someone to jump, and I was the one. So Thank you so much, Terry, for your support. Yeah, I see why a lot of people don't come out of the bushes. Hey, Mel. Hey, Ken. Shell. Shell's like, I wish I was in there. All right, guys, let's get into interview number 4. This is Duchess. The link to her channel is in the description of this video. If you would like to watch the whole thing, we're going to start just right before Chris Proudfoot calls in. I know, true crime and other stuff. It was so cool to see you there, too. I was like, sweet. But it didn't turn out that way. Maybe they were darkness and the light. Fair enough. And that's all they had to say was, I don't know how that's going to find Sebastian. But when we cover these cases, we talk about dynamics and the whole shit and shebang. We don't just talk about the missing child. We all do this. That's why we all watched Nina, because it's all about dynamics and it tells a whole story. It's just. It's a whole story. And if you don't follow true crime like that, then maybe it's not the right channel for you. But we look at everything. We try to piece together an entire puzzle, if you will, on the story. So thank you, Janine. All right, let's get into this interview, y'all. Thank you for being here, and thank you for always having my back and being here to watch my content. I do appreciate every one of you.
At Gmail.
It's not coming on.
You guys got audio?
Oh, here we go.
Okay,
now
this is
give
when
me
Chris
just a
joins.
second. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm here. Every day's a struggle, but we make it.
I know. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to join me tonight so that we could just talk about your stepson, Sebastian, missing and everything that's transpired since our last conversation where you and Katie joined me to talk to me about Sebastian's disappearance. It seems like it's been a rough week.
It's been a rough 21 days and counting.
I know it has. And I just appreciate you taking the time to join us to maybe answer some questions. And I know there's some things that you wanted to clear the air about. And I appreciate you taking the time to just come over here and do that.
You're welcome.
Just trying to think where I want to start. I know there may be people that are watching or listening.
Thank you, Terry.
To this case. Everyone in the chat, if you would please, if you do have questions, the panel, Crystal, Arctic, and I have some questions and things that we are going to, we're just going to ask Chris. We've seen some people asking questions. We want to ask our own questions. We want to just make sure that things that were asked from the very beginning, to make sure that we've covered all of those things. And this may be answering the question that you have. And once we have went through some of those questions, we will take some questions from the chat. And I just ask that if your question has already been answered by Chris in the live stream, that we may skip over your question because I don't want to have to make him continue to re-answer the same question, over and over. So we're going to start out with some questions from the panel, and then we will hop over to the chat, and we'll have Chris to see if he'll answer some questions from you guys. So we appreciate everyone for your patience.
East Coast
and,
Beauty.
We just ask that you show respect, and just, kindness goes a long way, and we appreciate that. Let me get over here. I'd made myself a couple of notes. So, I hope Sebastian's mom is okay. I know this has been very difficult for her.
Well, she's right here beside me, so she can hear every single thing.
Hey, Katie, I appreciate you being here and listening. You are in our thoughts and prayers, and I know this must be so very difficult for you. And I'm just praying for your strength. And that's Sebastian will be found soon. We had lots of people donate tonight. So many wonderful, amazing people in this chat. We're going to be able to keep the billboards up until after next Monday. So, we've got a whole nother week that we're going to be able to run the billboards, which is amazing.
Well, thank you
And
to everybody that has contributed and been a part of this from the start to current.
y'all are very much appreciated in the chat. You have to know that it means so much to them because these billboards, and listen, Chris, also, if there is another location that you and Katie would like to have a billboard, you can, let me know and I'll be happy to get another billboard going. If there's a location that you are interested in, you can just reach out to me sometime this week and I can look into it. If you think there's another location, that would be good and we can get another one going up. Just let me know and we'll make it
Yes,
happen.
ma'am.
Okay. So, besides gaming, what are other things that Sebastian likes to do?
He likes to fish. He loves to play on playgrounds.
We get the little kid crafts from Lowe's and Home Depot, so he likes to build little things with me.
We get the little kid crafts from Lowe's and Home Depot, and he likes to build little things with me. What has he built with you, Katie? That's what I would have asked. Oh, that's so sweet, Katie. What did you guys build together? Tell us about those crafts.
So, besides gaming, what are other things that Sebastian likes to do?
He likes to fish. He loves to play on playgrounds.
We get the little kid crafts from Lowe's and Home Depot, so he likes to build little things with me.
That's really cool. And you said that Sebastian didn't really have a lot of friends. He didn't really have any friends. He has a couple of friends at school. Do you think it's possible that, and which you told me before you didn't think so, but do you think there's any way possible that he could have met a friend online, either at school or at his father's or at your house? Do you think that's possible in any way?
We didn't.
There's always a possibility. That is a question that I can. There's always a possibility that a child can do something. Now, from my best recollection, mom's best recollection, and the father's best recollection, not that we know of. Our
Okay.
house, as we've stated, has been it is strict. It stays locked down with that kind of situation.
We use internet time and gaming as like a positive reinforcement rather than a free access.
Okay.
TBI
Wait,
is
what did she say? Hold on. What the hell did she say? Something about free access. What? Positive reinforcement?
Through at your house. Do you think that's possible in any way?
We didn't.
there's always a possibility. That is a question that I can. I'll like. There's always a possibility that a child can do something. Now, from my best recollection, mom's best recollection, and the father's best recollection, not that we know of. Our
Okay.
house, as we've stated, has been it is strict on with that kind of situation.
We use internet time and gaming as like a positive reinforcement rather than a free access.
We use gaming and internet time as positive reinforcement instead of just free access. So, in other words, she's saying, like, oh, he has to earn his time or something like that.
Okay.
TBI is well, excuse me, not just TBI, but all law enforcement agencies involved are actually anything and everything which way they can. They are doing their best to investigate, look, search, any little thing. And right now, we got no luck.
Okay. Um, Katie, can you walk us through for anyone that's new to this case that may be just finding out about Sebastian being missing? Can you walk us through what happened on Sunday, like the before Sebastian, went missing? Can you walk everybody through that and what led up to you finding out that Sebastian was missing?
Yeah. Sunday morning, I'll just start at the morning. Sunday morning, we got up and I made a fun breakfast for us, spaghetti pancakes. Google it, y'all. We FaceTime family while we were eating so he could brag because that's something he likes to do.
Same exact
And
wording.
we were laughing and joking on FaceTime and having a good time with that. After breakfast, we got a call to go pick up our niece and go take her to meet up. So we did that. We went and picked her up, and we met her mom at BJ's.
Is she talking about Sunday? So Sunday was BJ's spaghetti pancakes. It's where you take like the pancake shiz and you make it look like spaghetti. Look, I'll show you guys. It actually would probably be fun for kids. This is spaghetti pancakes. This is how they make them. Look.
Everyone seems to be making pancake spaghetti at the moment. So I thought to myself, can I make gluten-free pancake spaghetti from my celiac wife? A cup and a half of milk, 2 tablespoons of, but since we're making initiate, add some butter to your cast iron pan,
Watch.
put your batter in a squeeze bottle.
Yeah, it's like a funnel cake, I guess. The music. I've never made it.
Don't try and flip the pancake spaghetti, it's impossible. So there you have it. If you're celiac, you can make gluten-free.
So that's spaghetti pancakes. I've never heard of him myself, but he wanted to call and FaceTime and brag. So Lucia says interesting. It sounds like a preschool activity. Yeah, it's 2 blunts in and I make spaghetti pancakes.
And
I never have
we were
either.
there with family members. We come home and put our groceries away. And then a little bit later, we went to the bowling alley, a local bowling alley here, and we played games. And then and this is just Bubba and I, and we went to dinner, just the 2 of us, and then come home.
So just her and Bubba were at the bowling alley? I thought that the aunt and the cousin, they picked up the niece. Yeah. So BJ's and Costco. I thought Costco was Sunday and BJ's was Saturday. But then only the 2 of them went to the bowling alley. I thought that the Aunt Melissa was there. Shell says, I thought Costco was Sunday. Costco was Saturday, says Gina. Yeah, they pick her up and then they had to meet up. Like, what does that mean? Let's start back at the spaghetti pancakes.
Sunday morning, we got up and I made a fun breakfast for us, spaghetti pancakes. Google it, y'all. We FaceTime family while we were eating so he could brag because that's something he likes to do. And we were laughing and joking on FaceTime and having a good time with that. After breakfast, we got a call to go pick up our niece and go take her to meet up. So we did that. We went and picked her up.
And take her to meet up. So they picked up the niece and then they went to go meet her mother.
And we met her mom at BJ's. and we were there with family members.
We were there with family members.
Um, we come home and put our groceries away. And then a little bit later, we went to the bowling alley, a local bowling alley here, and we played games. And then and this is just Bubba and I, and we went to dinner, just the two of us, and then come home. Um, he took the trash out because that's his chore. And he come in and he was playing in his room until bedtime. And at bedtime, I told him, I said, "Hey, Bubba, it's time to go to bed." And he goes, "Okay. Good night, Mama. I love you." And then he said goodnight to his puppies.
He said, "Good night, Mama. I love you." Said, "I love you, Mama. I love you, puppies."
Um, um,
Then just the two of us come home.
he took the trash out because that's his chore. And he come in and he was playing in his room until bedtime. And at bedtime, I told him, I said, "Hey, Bubba, it's time to go to bed." And he goes, "Okay. Good night, Mama. I love you."
Exactly, true crime and other stuff. Why do we need to know he took the trash out? Because that was his chore. Why do we need to know his chore? Or when he's lying about work, about lying about doing work. Thank you, Ima. How old is the niece? I don't know. I don't know.
And then he said goodnight to his puppies. And he went to bed.
Flung.
Okay. And walk me through what happened. You said that you were on a phone call,
Hi,
you
Sweden.
were on the couch, and then you went to bed at midnight. Walk me through exactly what transpired during that time before you went to bed at midnight for you.
So, well, my husband, he works out of town a lot. So, um, we normally sit and talk every evening, and I normally fall asleep on him. um, and he'll tell me, "Wake up, you got to go to bed." And and that was right around midnight. So I got up and I put the puppies up and I went to bed myself at midnight. And I went to sleep, obviously, and then
I went to bed at midnight. I don't have any of Aunt Melissa's stuff. I've never seen Aunt Melissa's posts. That was around midnight. My husband, he works out of town a lot.
um, we normally sit and talk every evening, and I normally fall asleep on him. um, and he'll tell me, "Wake up, you got to go to bed." And
You got to go to bed. He told me, "Wake up, go to bed." I'd be so pissed if someone did that. Like, if I fall asleep, don't wake me up and tell me to go back to sleep. My brother used to do that shit. He'd be like, "Hey, Jennifer, wake up." I'd be like, "What? Go back to sleep."
and that was right around midnight. So I got up and I put the puppies up and I went to bed myself at midnight. And I went to sleep, obviously, and then at 6 a.m. I went to wake him up for school, and that's when I couldn't find him. And sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
Hmm. Do you guys believe she's choked up, or do you think that this is fake? Because remember, the dispatch said that he was inside by midnight, the missing child? Irene, what are you talking about? My screen is blurry and hard to see. You might want to change your quality because we are in 1080 HD high def. You guys think it's fake? She did not mention the thud. Nope.
Take your time. Tell me, did Sebastian take any type of medication before he went to bed, or that would make him sleepy, or if he did take medication, it was just in the morning, or did he take medication at night before he went to bed?
He did take medication
Chris is
nightly
back.
and daily.
Okay. Okay.
Just for HIPAA reasons, we will not disclose
I
what the
understand.
medication is.
I was just trying to think, if there was something that might have made him sleepy, like if he would have woken up, I just all these different questions that people have
So,
asked. So,
right.
but you don't have
Actually, hold on. Daphne, I heard Seth say that he caught the bus between 7:10 and 7:20 every morning. And I just actually listened to that last night. I think it was on Vinnie Politan. Seth said that Sebastian caught the bus at between 7:10 and 7:20 in the morning.
to disclose any particular. Nobody needs to know that, specifically. I just wanted to ask. Do you feel any particular way? Do you have any thoughts about Sebastian's disappearance? Do you feel that he may have walked off? I've seen a lot of people in chat saying that he went out the window versus he went out the door. How did the door get locked? That you found the door locked. Can you walk me through exactly what that looks like and what you found? Was the door locked? What do you think may have occurred for him walking off versus
Well, I tell you
that he's
this.
with someone? Okay,
We didn't find any signs of the windows, but and without disclosing the details of my door locks, I will
I
say that
understand.
Sebastian regularly and consistently went out and locked the door behind himself.
Okay, okay,
Consistently. What?
all right.
Wait. What did she say?
The door behind
Well, go ahead and answer her.
himself.
Okay. Off versus
Well, I tell you
that he's
this.
with someone? Okay,
We didn't find any signs of the windows, but and without disclosing the details of my door locks, I will
I
say that
understand.
Sebastian regularly and consistently went out and locked the door behind himself.
Okay, okay.
Wait. Without giving details about our door locks? What does that even mean? Thank you so much, Flo. And True Crime and Other Stuff. Welcome. Welcome. I hope to see you in Discord. Bassett Baby coming in hot with a super chat. Thank you so much. He always consistently went out the door and locked it behind him. Probably because it locked automatically behind him, maybe. Right. Why is she being secretive about the locks? But they checked the windows and there was nothing, she said. Right. But those keypads, I used to have one on my house and it automatically locks. So when you go out, it'll automatically lock. You don't have to do anything. And then when you come back in, you punch in the code, it unlocks for like 10 seconds or whatever, enough for you to get in the door. And then you shut the door and then it locks by itself. So that's how that worked for mine, anyways. What about the friend's house she was supposed to go by? Dara? I don't know who that is, Dara. I've never heard that name before. Yeah, it'll relock. Yeah, exactly, Ark. She's acting like her life is at risk if she relinquishes what her door locks are like. But they had like 4 doors. They had the front door, 2 doors off the garage, not including the big garage doors, but 2 service doors, which Katie called a man door. Then they had the back door where the porch is. Or, yeah, you can have it where you hit the lock button as well. The other keypad was on the garage door. There was another one, Lee. I did not know that. Slow mode is too slow. Oh, this interview, the date is actually March 17th. March 17th. So the first one we watched was March 3rd, then March 4th, then March 7th, and now the 17th. And then on the 18th, the very next day after this, is Olivia's interview. Because information, everything you remember could mean something. Chris said there are only 2 doors, but there's not. We looked. There's 2 doors off the garage, then the 2 big doors, then the front door, and then the back screen door, the sun porch door.
All right, let me get over here because I have some other questions that are coming in.
Yeah, you
Now,
can
I will
change
say
the
this
code.
much:
Yeah.
let them ask questions. I mean, we're not hiding anything. I've heard so much negativity that I refuse to answer questions. Let them fly. I mean, I'll
Okay.
be
Okay.
respectful on my responses. I would hope they would be respectful in their questions, but please let them fly. We're good with it.
Okay. I'm just going to Crystal Arctic, do you have a question that you want to ask before I take a few questions from the chat?
I do.
I'm gonna Okay, go ahead.
Um, we know that Sebastian was high functioning, had high functioning autism. What would you say was strengths and weaknesses that he had? Because no 2 kids are the same, is why I'm asking.
That is you are nowhere far from the truth on that because that is so correct. Um, Sebastian is extremely high functioning. His weakness, he does not have a sense of personal space. They've always been working with him about like a 3-foot rule because he likes to be right up in your face. Hey, whoa.
He deals with some social and emotional dysregulation issues.
Mhm.
Simply put, his emotions or responses don't always appropriately match the situation. And socially he can be somewhat awkward interacting with others because he doesn't always match, like, I don't know how to say it right. Like, someone will want to talk about one conversation, but if that's not the subject he's fixated on, he will just railroad over that and go right back to what he's thinking. But at the same time, he's also, for the most part, a pretty happy kid, and he loves being a helper, and he likes,
Roxy Lady has
he
just
likes
donated
animals, and he's really
$3.66.
smart.
He can play in a game of chess, and he's beat grown men in chess.
He actually likes reading occasionally, but only if it's what he wants to read. So like Minecraft books, he loves to read those. Albeit his humor is a little different. He's funny. I prefer he's silly more than anything.
How is he with strangers?
Depends on the day, to be honest with you. He goes either he's never met a stranger all the way to, depending on his mood, he don't want nothing to do with anybody. So it's kind of difficult to answer that question because it varies depending on where he is in the moment.
Thank you, Roxy.
Okay.
Normally, he's. There's times he's not afraid to talk to people. There's times he is afraid to talk to people. Adults, maybe not so much, but children, he has no problem approaching children and talking.
For the most part.
For the most part, like I said, it just depends on what mood and what day of the week you catch him.
Okay. Artie, do you have a question you'd like to ask?
I just wanted to know if maybe thinking back on it, is there anything you can think of that seemed off or out of the ordinary prior to him going missing that during the night before you noticed he was missing?
I honestly didn't notice anything that was like, oh my God, that's weird, you know? I mean, we had a really good day, you know, he wasn't in trouble at all. We went to bed on a good note. And I don't know if maybe he just wasn't saying something, but nothing. And I've gone over this so many times. I'm ill, but I didn't see or notice anything that was like red flag, you know?
Okay.
He didn't have any meltdowns or anything like that seemed off.
No, he was actually really well behaved that day. He was even keel for the most part all day.
Can I ask the question?
Sure.
Was that unusual for him to be
No,
well behaved all day?
not necessarily. And
Sebastian goes through phases.
he's got streaks where he's great, and then it's like
Goes through remission.
yeah, like he'll screw up and he'll get in trouble, and then he'll be good again, and he'll screw up. I mean, he's like a typical kid, um, in a sense, but he just has autism, and I mean it's hit or miss.
But like he'll be doing really, really great for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden it's like he'll flip a switch. Sorry, and and then we're working on going to the bathroom, and we're working on manners, and we're working on attitude, and then and then we'll go through that phase, and then we'll go through and he'll flip the switch again, and he's doing really great. He just goes through.
I understand that
It's like
completely. Trust me.
progress, backpedal, but it.
Now, when I saw on social media, some people were talking about Seth had spoken on, I guess it was, maybe it was the Pascal show that he recently spoke on, and he was talking about how at the end of the school year, Sebastian was supposed to come and live with him. And can you tell us anything about that? Is there anything specific to know about that? I think a lot of people have been, have been saying some very interesting things. According to some posts that I saw, apparently it's because Chris, you are that he's scared of you. That he's scared of you, and that you're bullying him at home. And I hate, I don't like to ask these questions, but I
I
feel
would
like that this
prefer.
needs to be
I would actually
addressed
prefer
this,
you ask these
because I
questions.
I just want you to talk to us about why people are saying this, and why people are also putting online that you have domestic violence charges. And I just wanted you to talk to us about that. If you, whatever you feel like you can tell us, so we can try to reel that in.
No, I'm okay to address every bit of this.
Okay.
So you mentioned Sebastian's afraid of me. Well, that is a loaded question, because somebody who has released some information
Welcome,
out
Granny.
there from another show, who I won't put his
Mhm.
name out there, uh, allowed somebody to say something. Now, mind you, when you have a teenage child or teenage children, all parents know this. Your children are not going to like you because you're not there to be their best friend. You're there to be a parent.
Welcome, guys.
And as parents, you have rules they have to follow. If they don't, there's consequences. Sebastian will say one day he's upset and mad at me for something, and 20 minutes later will run up to me, throw his arms around me, cry, and say, "I'm sorry and I love you." So, when you get in trouble, of course you don't like your parents. He said the exact same things about his father, but that's when you set him down and say, "Look, bud, parents are parents, and we're going to have to do what we have to do. And unfortunately, you're not going to like it, but down the road,
Man, I'll
when
tell
you
you what,
get
that dang
older and
old
if you
internet,
decide
man.
to have
Click, 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 click,
children,
click, 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 click. It's
someday
real
you're going
easy,
to look
man.
back and say, man, they were right. So, I mean, people have their opinions, they have their thoughts and their assumptions, and that's fine. I have never once stopped a person from having them. That's why we are people. That's how we are. But knowing the facts are one thing. And then assumptions behind what you want to put out there is something totally different.
Right.
You addressed domestic violence. Okay. There are some folks out there who have decided to go online and go pull some public records, which perfectly okay with. Domestic violence. If I had domestic violence in my background, I wouldn't have certain credentials that I have because you're not legally allowed to. Um, Domestic violence, no. I've had a temporary protective order and I had a no contact order placed against me in New Mexico with my ex wife. Now, mind you, let me back up and I'll play the whole story for you. Me and my ex wife, we actually lived here in Tennessee for a little bit. We had a daughter. And at the time, my daughter was only maybe 6 weeks old. An event took place while I was holding my daughter. And when that took place, I filed for an immediate protection order against her. We went to court. The court made their decisions. I gave my daughter back to her mother. And when she received her, she jumped in the truck and flew right back to New Mexico. Got to New Mexico within 2 days of being there. She turned around and filed the exact same thing against me in New Mexico.
This is all dirty. Every single thing that happens with these people is just dirty. You've got protection orders being filed and then protection orders being filed against, coming back. It's like tit for tat. Granny, I just want to say that it's not your fault. It's not your fault. His credentials, Gina, that's what I was going to answer. I think he's talking about the Crane credentials. Jane says that CP has been more of a caretaker than Seth for many years. Roof over his head and food in his stomach. They say he's very smart, though, you guys. It's like they talk out of both sides of their mouths. They make him sound normal, like a normal teen, high functioning, on the high end of the spectrum or the low end of the spectrum. And then they say, in the other hand, like the last interview we watched, Katie said, if you say his name, he'll look. I know. I like Granny's lives too. Yeah, but then they're like, hey, he's really smart. He can play chess. I don't know. It's like you can't get a good grip on who Sebastian really was from his own parents because they talk out of both sides of their mouths.
So everything that people are reading, it's on a court document. But what you don't read is the all the things that are happening in the court. You're not reading the transcript. So unfortunately, you don't know the full story. But
Right.
if people want to ask, I'm okay to tell you. You know, yes, I still have a current custody case going on in New Mexico that actually has absolutely zero bearing on this case with Sebastian.
Yeah, he gets defensive.
I do ask people to refrain from bringing that up because it has no bearing. And all you're going to do is put assumptions, and you're going to allow people to have their speculations and bring out more false information. And what people don't understand is every time somebody puts something out there, or they call into the law enforcement agency and says, the stepfather did it, you need to check the stepfather. Well, now you've just pulled a body away from the investigation because they are mandated to deal with that.
Right.
And I have told everybody from the very beginning, the TBI put a news link out, and in there it does state that all three parents have extremely been cooperative and constantly or continuously working with law enforcement. And there's absolutely nothing to show that we are responsible, foul play, any of that nature. People have asked about interrogations and polygraphs. All this stuff has been done. All of it
Yeah,
has
I
been
think
done.
that was one of the questions that I had up next was, have you both taken a polygraph test?
The results are passed.
Chris, can I ask something? Because I know that
Yes,
people
ma'am.
was going to ask it afterwards.
So this was a lie too, right? Because he told Nancy Grace he hadn't taken one, but they asked, "Did you take a poly?" And he's like, "And the results are passed." I mean, but does he really owe us anything? To be honest, he doesn't owe us shit. To be honest, does he? He doesn't say yes. You're right, Brianna. And the results passed.
I'll go ahead and paint that story very crystal clear. Um, I was holding my daughter in my left arm. Okay. Mind you, she was a little baby. She was up against my chest, cuddled up next to my cheek and my shoulder. My ex-wife accused me of having an affair with a coworker, um, who was not much into men. I'll let you go that direction wherever you want to go. Just wasn't into men. Um, and that coworker was my boss at the time, and she didn't like. And I was like, "You're kidding me, right?" And
Okay, now in Proudfoot's defense, no. In Proudfoot's defense, y'all, I've got to say the truth here. One day I went through Facebook and I went back in his ex-wife's Facebook. And it seems like when they were married, she was pretty insecure. Like she wanted him to, she sent a picture, like she tagged him in a picture of a t-shirt for like crazy wives and girlfriends, and it had this guy standing there with his girlfriend's face on it. And then it was long and it went past their waist. And right by where, his privates would be, it said, "Don't look, I have a girlfriend," or something like that. And she tagged him in it. And she said, "I'm getting this for you. Um, blah, blah, blah. So no one's looking at you, stuff like that." There were other things that were on there too, and it's probably still there. You just have to scroll back in time. Yeah, she was like, "So no one's looking at your dick," or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it said, but I think that she was kind of jealous. Yeah, he's very flirty. So, in other words, he's like, "My boss was not into men, but my ex wife thought that I was having an affair with her," is basically what he's saying.
showed it to her. She's very hot headed. She didn't like the answer. Swore up and down I was, and she connected and slapped me across the left hand side of my face where I was holding my daughter. If you can do that while a man is holding a child, or a woman is holding a child for that matter, if you can slap that person while they're holding that child, that says something about you.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to agree here. I have to agree here. Yeah, I don't know how they met. I'm curious how she met Chris. Was he married when they met? Right. Right. Is that why she's so insecure? She was so insecure about the marriage? Um, it doesn't matter if it's male or female. If you're holding a child, you don't slap someone You don't hit someone. I mean, you shouldn't do that even if they're not holding a child. Do you guys believe that she slapped him? Chris goes through women like paper towels. It's understandable that she would be concerned. Oh, yeah. Nina did say it was on a dating site. That's right, Lee. They met on a dating site. Was she just divorced? I think she was divorced and then she went on a dating site and met Chris. I don't know, Janine. I don't know. I mean, we can't just take one person's side. We don't know these people. So we have to take it all in and then kind of weigh out, what the truth can be. And, volatile relationships can go both ways. It doesn't only have to be one-sided.
And I'm not going to be in that situation. I wouldn't expect any person to be in a situation of that. So I had to do what I had to do based on being a parent, which was best for my child.
Right.
I mean, he
I
could be
just knew that
projecting.
in the
Who
future
knows?
that people would be online saying there was an incident and nobody asked what the incident was. You
And I'm
said the
sure,
results.
I'm sure they're
The
going to
results are
spin it.
yeah. The results of the polygraph was that you passed. Is that both of you passed, or can you say?
Yes.
Okay. I think that was my question that was up next was, so you've both taken a polygraph test. That was, some of the questions. I see a couple people asking that specifically. Did you take a polygraph test specifically? Chloe, and Mo wanted to know specifically, could you elaborate? Did you take one and also pass?
I've got a question, and a lot of people have been asking, Chris, is there any reason why you don't want Sebastian around your daughter?
So I'm going to make this real crystal clear for everybody.
Oh,
There's some things that can be spoke of, and there's some things that will not be spoke of. And personal issues inside my family are strictly that. They have no bearing on this investigation. The cops are well aware of everything
Mhm.
involving specifics. And that's quite honestly, I know this is going to sound snarky and rude, but it's really nobody's business as to that because it has no bearing on this case.
Understood.
all
Okay.
right. So I want to know what you
And for
guys,
the record,
now that I'm hearing this again and we've heard Nina's story, do you agree with him that this should have never been brought into Sebastian's case? Because I know I got flung and slung today for texting the foster parents to ask if they had any statement they would like to make. But what do you think about Nina coming out? What do you think that did? Do you think that she should have? What do you feel about that? Freezer burnt. I know a lot of you say that you think Katie could be mean too. I don't know. He always says, "Let me make this crystal clear," and it's never crystal clear. Brianna says it does have to do with this investigation. If Chris has animosity towards Sebastian, it matters. Well, and there's a reason too, right? And that's why I think it does matter because Nina, if we go back to December, Faith came to visit. Sebastian was with Seth. Faith goes home, and there's a emergency custody order filed by Nina in New Mexico, which could have started this whole ball rolling with CPS and Sebastian. Because we don't know what prompted Nina to file that order mid-January. Something prompted her to do that. And then if you look at the court docket for Nina and Chris's case, there's depositions that were done. There was one by Katie Proudfoot on January 17th or 18th of January. So there were depositions given. I just don't know what happened while Sebastian was there. You know what I mean? Something happened, though. It could have been motive to get rid. Yes, Kristen, exactly. Exactly.
I will say this: all three parents have an agreement, and we all understand this.
They all have an
That can
agreement.
be
Got
said.
it. Got it. Okay.
They all have an agreement. Huh. All three of them have an agreement about Faith's case? Wait a minute. Why would Seth have an agreement when it comes to Faith's case? Doesn't that sound weird? I know this is going to sound snarky and rude, but all three of us have an agreement. Micro says she feels like Katie maybe did something to Faith. She has a past that might make her repeat the cycle. Sue says, I think Chris and Seth are friends, always have. Well, when Seth came out and said they gamed together, that was quite interesting. I thought he meant all have an agreement as to why he didn't want Sebastian around his daughter. Oh. Let's listen again.
But it's really nobody's business as to that because it has no bearing on this case.
Understood. Okay.
And for the record, I will say this: all three parents have an agreement, and we all understand this. That can be
Got
said.
it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. And someone wanted to ask, Angela said, I would like for Chris to clarify what he meant when he said he hasn't seen Sebastian since early February. Are you able to clarify? And if you're not, just state that.
That makes sense, guys.
So I cannot give certain details with this investigation, and that's kind of one of those things.
Okay.
I wished I could eventually down the road. I'm sure that will allow to come out.
Okay.
But as it stands right now, the answer that I've given is early February was the last time that I saw Sebastian. And no, I was not home when all of this took place. I actually got back to Nashville. And I believe it was later in the afternoon, but I was on the phone with the police for the majority of that day until I physically got here.
Wait,
A question that I've seen ask,
Wait,
so
what?
I wrote it down to ask you.
And no, I was not home when all of this took place. I actually got back to Nashville. And I believe it was later in the afternoon, but I was on the phone with the police for the majority of that day until I physically got here.
So he didn't get home until late afternoon, and he expects us to believe he's on the phone with LE the whole time? Almost the whole day? Yes, Seth did say they gamed. CP said they didn't. When all of what took place, says Graham. The agreement started with what happened with when Sebastian, don't be mad, Seth, but Sebastian was essayed by someone we left him with. Ever thought that Seth stabbing them in the back multiple times in an interview was all backlash towards Chris for his dominance and controlling manner of everyone? Seth, Nina, Faith, Sebastian, and Katie. Chloe said Katie had something on her background that Chris was pissed she mentioned. Oh, I don't think it was Katie's background. I think that he said he was mad that Chloe brought up her family's sex offender charges. Wait, Roxy, what? Sebastian was FaceTiming Faith, remember? I do remember that. Seth said on Pascal's show that he exposed himself. I don't remember him saying that. Did you guys ever hear that? I never heard him say that Sebastian did that. At 1 o'clock, he had to get someone to take over on the job, so he continued working till 1 o'clock, Tammy? What? Tammy, that doesn't even make sense. Why would he do that? The essay happened in California, and I think Sebastian was 7. Pascal was uncomfortable. He did say that? Can you guys link me to that? Did Pascal delete it? But why would that make Nina file an emergency order? If Faith doesn't even live there, why would she say, oh, I need to file this right meow? He said Seb would say, here's mine, what's yours? And that he displayed behaviors of someone who didn't get therapy after SA. Oh, wow. I remember when Chris said that if he said what he wanted to say, that no one would search for Sebastian. I do remember that. But I don't remember hearing that part. Uncle Taco in Illinois. Yeah, if you can email me that link. I've never seen that. We played it not long ago to prove Seth implied Sebastian was displaying behaviors. It's also when he said his mom received a text calling Seb a pedo. Oh my God. From Chris to Robin? Oh man. Roxy, if you don't mind emailing me that link, I'd like to watch that tonight. What's up, Mark?
A question that I've seen asked, so I think
But what was he doing till the late afternoon, though? That's a long ass time. That is a long time.
I wrote it down to ask you. Why was the sheriff's office called and not 911?
So I don't. Our house is not designated for city limits, which jurisdictions for police are inside city limits. The sheriff's department is what governs our area because we're outside of that. So if you call 911 and you're outside of those areas, it goes to a central point, but then they will turn around and ask your location and then they redirect you to another dispatcher. If you know who the dispatcher, who your law enforcement agency is that governs your area, I just call them straight. There's no point in wasting
That
time.
doesn't even make sense. But if Sebastian went missing prior and, they made a call to the sheriff's department, maybe that's what they did. We don't know. She did, Big R. She said that she was reading a chapter for school. Yeah, Uncle Taco. I don't even know where that came from. Yeah, I don't think that they would even want him on a crane when his stepson was found missing from his bed that morning. I would think that they would say, hey, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, we'll figure out what's going on with work. You just get home to your wife. His boss probably won't talk. I mean, it's like a union job. That's like probably a government contracted job, kind of.
Going from one to another to get to what I need when I know exactly who to call.
And you guys were on a 3-way call because you
Yes.
were not, you were coming from out of town. Is that correct?
We were on a 3-way call.
Yeah, that law enforcement was called on a 3-way call. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to clarify that. Carrie Dean wants to ask you if Sebastian could have been sneaking out prior without y'all knowing.
I would like to say no.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is not Sebastian. He's not a child that just goes outside at any point in time without telling somebody something.
It's somehow
Um,
zero knowledge.
Yeah, if it had happened, we don't know about it. We were on a 3-way call.
Yeah, that law enforcement was called on a 3-way call. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to clarify that. Carrie Dean wants to ask you if Sebastian could have been sneaking out prior without y'all knowing.
I would like to say no.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is not Sebastian. He's not a child that just goes outside at any point in time without telling somebody something.
If somehow that
Um,
happened, zero knowledge.
yeah, if it had happened, we don't know about it. But our neighborhood is a very small subdivision. It's not huge. And everybody here looks out for everybody. We all watch to make sure everything's kosher in the neighborhood, and nobody has reported anything of that nature.
Okay. Crazy Linda asked, were there any weapons in either homes? And if so, were they all accounted for by law
Weapons.
enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. And
Okay, so she asked 2 questions. He said yes, and she let it go. Were there weapons in the home, and were they accounted for? He said yes. So are we to assume that there were weapons and they're all accounted for then?
Do you all have camera footage in your home? I've heard people saying that too.
That is some information that we cannot divulge at this time due to the ongoing investigation.
Wait, what? He didn't want to answer that one. What was it?
okay. And
Do you all have camera footage in your home? I've heard people saying that
He didn't
too.
answer
That is some information that we cannot divulge at this time due to the ongoing investigation.
that. He doesn't hate potato. He doesn't want to divulge the information. Sophia says hi, potato. He doesn't want to answer about cameras. He doesn't want to answer about the cameras due to the ongoing investigation.
okay.
Thank you.
I wish we
Did
could, but
Sebastian
unfortunately we can't.
did Sebastian have a key to the house? And if he did he take that key with him?
That is another part of an investigation that's ongoing that we cannot answer.
Okay.
Can I ask the question I've seen? Whose idea was it for Sebastian to move in with his bio dad after school was out?
All 3 parents.
And another thing that I've seen, and I mean, I understand if y'all can't answer.
Here's what I will openly say about that.
Oh, there it
Um,
is. That's what somebody posted in the comments.
so what I will say on that is this: people go through divorces, and it is not the best of times. So I was not privy to that kind of
He
information
said
prior
pervy
to
again.
my relationship with my wife.
He said pervy again. This is the second time he said pervy instead of privy. So they brought up right here. It says JLR, while you're busy researching the stepdad, please use as much due diligence and effort to look into the bio dad. Mom filed DV charges and restraining orders on him in San Diego in August 2016, 6 months after she filed for divorce. He's only been a police officer since February 2023 in Tennessee. Prior to that, he worked at several places in the security industry.
The best of times.
So he just got the job last year?
So I was not privy to that kind of information prior to my relationship with my wife. That if anything happened, that happened prior to my knowledge. So I cannot and give you an answer of that. But what I can say is, if it is out there, it could be of public knowledge. It could be a public record, but I don't have any knowledge of it.
God Almighty.
Okay. That's what I need.
Okay, and I can verify that as of today, according to the Davidson County Sheriff's Department, Seth Rogers that's IS, still employed. As of today, Tuesday, June 4th, Seth Rogers is still employed by the Davidson County Sheriff's Department. They could not tell me if he was on a leave, but he is still employed. I just wanted to put that out there because I know people have been saying they're not sure if he's still got a job or whatever. They said he does work there, but I don't know if he's currently working, if that makes sense. I could only get the verification. That's all I got.
Needed to ask on that one. Okay, going back over here to my questions, guys. Please, I appreciate your patience, and they are sending me the questions. So I see that you guys are still posting more questions, and I'm getting to them as fast as I can. So thank you guys for being patient. I do have 4 or 5 more messages that just popped up that said they want to know that you definitely took a polygraph and passed because it got cut off by a different question, and they feel like you did not answer that.
Oh,
So
here
I'm
we
just
go again.
asking one more time. This is the last time, guys. I'm going to revisit this question.
Okay. For the record.
Mo, he said he passed it, according to Amy.
Well, hold on. Somebody asked the question, was a polygraph taken and has it been passed? Yes. I didn't specify who or when. But what I can tell you, everything has been vetted completely. Polygraphs have come back as passed. So I'm confused as in why they're all wondering if myself, my wife, and the biological father took one. When law enforcement agency has come out and told everybody, even in the TBI news link, if you guys hadn't read that, please go out and read that. That's got a lot of great information in it, especially it's probably the most up-to-date information. But they will even tell you at this point in time, they have no reason to speculate foul play, anything on the parents. Everybody's been extremely cooperative of anything and everything they've asked us.
Okay, you can be cooperative all day long, but you're not cleared. Like, if you're being cooperative and you're still not cleared, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good.
Okay. And Bobby, why did that happen? Because it's public. It's a public post. And these are questions that people are asking. And that is why it's up there. So before we go any further, we'll go back and this is another, I have had many questions about this, about supposedly Sebastian's grandmother spoke out last night. And he said, Trev apparently quoted her from some comments on a YouTube chat. Is there anything that you want to say about this particular comment? Because I have been messaged multiple times about this. If you want to address it, you don't, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. I just wanted to
I,
ask you.
I will address it. I have, like I said, if somebody's refusing to address something that shows suspicion, I have no problems to address this. The grandmother, which is Seth, at that Robin is the name. She is Seth's biological
Robin is
father's
the name.
mom. She made her statement on whatever YouTube channel. That's fine.
Thank you, Trev.
What I can say on that is real simple. Like I said earlier in this podcast, kids are going to say things. They're going to get upset because you're a parent and they don't like your answers. Sebastian has said, like I said before, the same thing about his biological father. But when you sit your kids down and you explain to them that being a parent, you have to do things that they don't like, unfortunately, it is what it is. We're not, as parents, everybody knows we're not to be our child's best friends. We're there to be parents. As a parent, your job in life is to make sure your offspring grow up to be better than we ever have been or get things better than we ever could get. And that's your legacy. That's our job. And kids don't like it. They're not going to understand because they're still young. Their minds are being molded. But eventually they're going to grow up. And when they have their own kids, they're going to look back and go, man, our parents were right. Because everybody that's an adult that has kids right now, not one person can say, no, he's wrong. Because you've all done it. We still do it. And that's just part of it.
Right. And thank you, Trev, for being here. I thought this was a very important, when I saw this, it really kind of shocked me. And I felt like, while you're willing, to answer questions, I thought it was an important question to ask. Trev said, she said Chris verbally abused her, and that's very different than parenting. I just wanted to ask because people have a lot of questions. And so that was, I just wanted to ask you. And it was, no shade to Trev time. He just was posting that that's what happened in the chat, and he did verify that it was her. So, I just wanted to bring it straight to you. The best way to clarify is to ask.
To clear up her statement about me being verbally abusive to her,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, she's not going to tell you the full story. but there's always, remember, three sides to the truth: hers, mine, and the truth in itself. So you can figure it out. Me and the grandmother had a conversation, and this all stems back to an incident that a family member did. That, as the parents, we had consulted with law enforcement about something. They recommended not doing it. Lo and behold, something happened, and something was done against what we decided. I reached out to the mom and asked for her help. During that conversation, some accusations got flung uh, in my direction and toward my wife, which the mother or the grandmother actually doesn't have the whole story. She has never once sat down with me, my wife, her son, and gotten the full truth on everything. She's only heard one side of the story. And I can promise you, I've got text messages and I'm not afraid to show them. I'm not afraid to screenshot them and let the public see it. Now, I will say, unfortunately, none of this has to do with the investigation of our son. But yes, we had a heated discussion. Yes, I sent her an apology for the heated discussion. And I've never received anything back from the grandmother, which I have always left that door open. In fact, the day when they got into town, I invited them to my house, and welcomed them in. They stayed for a couple hours, then they left. I helped them, guide them to the direction where they were putting their RV, and have always made it abundantly clear that regardless, people are going to have their disputes. Door's always open.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Cluminati, yes, asked this several times.
Okay, so the whole thing with the dogs, Jackie. So it was said that the dogs only went in their pen or their crate when Chris was at home. When he's not home or he's out of town, the dogs allegedly slept with her. But that night, Chris told her to get up and go to bed and put the dogs up.
Brian Koberger.
Flung.
I didn't mean to press Brian Koberger, but do you get what I'm saying?
Times in chat, so I want to go ahead and address that. Where can locals be looking for Sebastian? Cluminati is local to your area, and she would like to know where you would like for people to be looking for Sebastian so they can be looking there. Is there any areas that you and Katie want to have people that are out there searching, where you want them to be hanging flyers? What can you tell us about that?
Everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I mean, for me to give you a designated area would suspect that we think he's in an area. Well, we don't know. So anywhere and everywhere, people be very vigilant. Please be vigilant. You'd be surprised in how complacent we as society get when we're not focused on things. We're so driven on our day-to-day functions that we forget about things that are going on around us. We're all
Right.
guilty, myself included. You know, anywhere and everywhere you can look. If there's not a flyer and you can print one off and post it up where you don't see a flyer, please do. I'm speaking for all three parents and all the families. We would greatly appreciate that. We send prayers, our thoughts, and our love out to everyone. I promise you. If there was a way we could make it felt and we could show it, we would.
We appreciate that, and we're happy. We're happy to help in any way that we can to find Sebastian. Ginger Snaps has a question. Can any of Sebastian's school friends drive?
So so I think there's a misconception about what he calls friends. He's not in normal classes. He's in like what they call it Why We Try program. So any kids with IEPs and et cetera, things of that nature are put into this class where they have 3 or 4 teachers or assistants in the room with a teacher at one given time. And while that goes on, there's not many kids in the class. So if Sebastian says they're a friend and they talk to him, he considers them a friend.
Okay.
But he doesn't have friends like most kids that would go and, "Hey, I'm going over to Johnny and Susie's house to hang out," because of his social awkwardness. It's very difficult for him to make friends, and he's actually asked for Christmas. We asked, "What do you want for Christmas?" He's, "I just want friends."
Right.
I mean, we're at that level, but no, unfortunately, he does not associate with kids that can drive.
Okay.
Um, so I wished I wished he had a lot of friends, but I think after this, and when he comes home, this boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do.
It's very sad, but do you guys think that he had friends? Because it seems to me like they're the ones that don't have friends. I mean, we've seen some clips of Sebastian and he looks fun and funny. The teachers left him. It was said that he had friends, yes.
Okay, and Doodlebug Fart says, I wonder if Sebastian knows how to connect his switch to Wi-Fi. Like, had he ever done that before?
No, ma'am. He does not have the ability. We have the Wi-Fi lockdown, so you have to request to join it, and then that request has to be approved by us. But his switch actually has parental controls on it set forth by his mom.
Okay. And Vet Girl
Does he have the
RWB.
same rules at his dad's? Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Does he have the same rules at his dad's house?
No, ma'am. I don't believe so. We respect like what he does at his dad's house is under his dad's roof. Um, we do stay in communications as far as like his behavior. Hey, this is what's going on. This is the punishment he's received. It's up to you if you want to continue with that at your house, vice versa. It's like I said, there's three of us, and we are extremely respectful toward one another when it comes to Sebastian. It You'd be surprised. It's not like it's a tug of war game. It's very, very cooperative among all three parents.
Okay.
Did
Vet Girl.
Sebastian want to live with his dad?
Say again, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Was Sebastian excited about living with his biological dad?
Well, that depends on what day you ask him, to be honest with you. There's days he was and days he wasn't.
That depends on what day you ask him. Some days he was, some days he wasn't.
I mean, like I said, when a kid gets in trouble, I don't want, I don't like you. Well, I'm sorry. And then an hour later, he, like nothing happened. So like I said, it's up or down.
Okay.
And I'm seeing this in chat, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask, is there a particular reason that you laugh before you answer a question? I've got my thoughts on it, but I think it would be better if you just took it.
That's fine. There are some questions that when people ask, I have heard these questions so many times. As much as people are on social media and they read the responses, I still get the same questions. So it's tiresome, but you know what? I told everybody I would answer the questions. So yeah, in a way, it's kind of funny that I keep getting the same questions over and over and over. But like I've told everybody, I respect them. I will answer them.
Okay.
But trust me, by any means, is this fun? No. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy at all.
He wouldn't wish this on his worst enemy. He wouldn't wish this on his worst enemy.
Do you have a question before I read Vet Girl's next question?
I think he's muted.
Okay. Go Bulldogs. Katie is there with Chris, but if she wants to speak, she will speak. But
Yes,
thank
she
you.
is.
Vet
I
Girl
do got a
RWB.
question about the
wait.
shoes.
I think we have a delay, Crystal,
Sorry.
because it's okay.
I think we do.
Let me ask this question real
How
quick.
many shoes did Sebastian have?
Say it one more time.
How many pairs of shoes did Sebastian have?
Well,
I'm not going to tell you how many shoes he has, but I will say that all of the shoes he has are accounted for.
did y'all catch Mom?
I didn't.
And
I
it
didn't
broke
quite
up
I didn't catch that. What'd she say?
a little
hear.
bit for me. Did you hear?
Okay. She said that she would not divulge how many pairs of shoes he has, but law enforcement has accounted for every pair of shoes.
Okay, Katie. She says, I don't want to divulge how many pairs of shoes he has, but law enforcement has accounted for every pair of shoes. How can law enforcement count for the shoes? How would law enforcement know how many shoes he has? They'd only know how many shoes he has by asking the mom. Why? You can't divulge because of your locks, and you can't divulge how many pairs of shoes the kid had.
You don't hold account.
But
Yeah,
thank
she
you.
is.
Vet
I
girl
do got a
RWD.
question though about the
Wait,
shoes.
I think we have a delay, Crystal,
Sorry.
because it's okay.
I think we
Let me,
do.
let me ask this question real
How
quick.
many shoes did Sebastian have?
Say it one more time.
How many pairs of shoes did Sebastian have?
Well,
I'm not going to tell you how many shoes he has, but I will say that all of the shoes he has are accounted for.
did y'all catch Mom?
I
It
didn't
broke
quite
up a little
hear.
bit for me. Did you hear?
Okay. She said that she would not divulge how many pairs of shoes he has, but law enforcement has accounted for every pair of shoes.
I have accounted for all of his shoes.
Okay. Can Vet Girl says, can you ask what Sebastian's normal school night routine is? Like some kids like to have their shower or a favorite blanket, their favorite pajamas. Please and
You
thanks.
don't hold account.
Sure. Sebastian comes home, gets off the school bus, comes in the house, does his chores, completes his homework, um, eats dinner. That time kind of varies. I don't have a set time on that. Bedtime, we normally have it right
Famous
around
Robin.
8:30, 9 o'clock. Sebastian gets a shower most of the time before he goes to bed. Around 7.
Why is he telling all of this? Hold on. This is Sebastian's daily routine. Let's listen again. He gets off the school bus.
Pajamas, please and thanks.
Sure. Sebastian comes home, gets off the school bus, comes in the house, does his chores, completes his homework.
So he comes home, does his chores, completes his homework. This is all while he's home alone. He's home alone while they're at work, right?
Eats dinner. That time kind of varies. I don't have a set time on that.
He doesn't have a set time on dinner. What? He comes home, he gets off the bus at this time. And then remember, Katie said, or he lies about doing work. How does he get in after school?
Bedtime, we normally have it right around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Sebastian gets a shower most of the time before he goes to bed, around 7 o'clock ish.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like I said, he's in the bed by 9 o'clock.
He's in the bed by 9 o'clock.
And Sebastian didn't have anyone that lived in the area that he hung out with at all that lives near you.
No, ma'am.
Poor
Okay.
No, ma'am.
kid.
All right. Thank you, Alicia P, for that question. And then All in Tank says, what's Sebastian like with people outside the family that he doesn't know? Is he shy with strangers? Is he outgoing?
So that question you asked earlier in the podcast, it depends. Each day it kind of varies. He can be shy. He can be talkative. With most kids, he don't hold back when it comes to kids. He is like, he's got a up close and in your face kind of thing that he's got to work on. So it kind of makes it difficult. With adults, it depends. There are some days he doesn't even want to talk to family members, and some days he may. It just kind of depends.
Okay.
Hey, Faye. Hey,
And
Jess.
hang on one second. I'm just getting to the next one. Arctic, did you or Crystal have a question that you wanted to ask?
No, I really want to make sure that the audience has a chance to get all their questions in.
Yeah, I'm going through each one of them right now. Some of them have already been asked, so I'm not asking those.
You want to know how 5 women fell for him? Because they're insecure women. He finds weak, insecure women. That's what he does.
Let's see. All in Tank says, does Katie look in on him if she gets up to use the bathroom or anything in the night usually?
Not normally. I've never really had a whole reason to. I mean, now that he's older, at least. He gets up in the middle of the night and he comes in and gets snacks and, the dogs don't even bark at him because he shushes them and they know him. But,
What? He comes in the middle of the night to get snacks? Comes in from where?
Tonight, the parents have a missing.
Not normally. I've never really had a whole reason to. I mean, now that he's older, at least. He gets up in the middle of the night and he comes in and gets snacks and, the dogs don't even bark at him because he shushes them and they know him.
And they know him? He comes in. I've even got the captions on. He comes in. She doesn't say down because there's no down. They live in a ranch. He comes in the middle of the night to get snacks. Listen again.
Now that he's older, at least. He gets up in the middle of the night and he comes in and gets snacks and, the dogs don't even bark at him because he shushes them and they know him. But
the dogs don't even bark at him because he shushes them and they know him. He comes in to get snacks in the middle of the night. In from where? The garage where the bed was? It's weird.
Room or anything in the night usually?
not normally. I've never really had a whole reason to. I mean, now that he's older, at least. He gets up in the middle of the night and he comes in and gets snacks and, and
It's right on the screen, y'all. If you think it says down, it says right there, middle of the night, and he comes in and gets snacks. Who says if their child's in their room that they come in and get snacks? You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say in. You would just say he gets up and gets a snack. He was coming in from the garage and the dogs didn't bark, says Cheech the Peach.
the dogs don't even bark at him because he shushes them and they know him. But no, I've never, since he's gotten older, I don't really have a reason to like peek in on him and wake him up.
And does he get up and down normally throughout the night on a regular basis? True Crime Cafe with Dago ask.
It honestly, he gets up and down at different times, different nights. I mean, not always. I mean, he goes in the kitchen and he'll sneak snacks and sweets and things he knows he's not supposed to be having, like typical kids do.
He sneaks snacks and sweets.
But for the most part, I mean, that may be about it. And then he goes right back to his bedroom.
Then he goes right back to his bedroom.
We bought snacks because, he's 15 and snacks.
Okay. Bobby James asks, can Chris comment on why you are threatening lawyers about the bio dad's GoFundMe?
So the conversation of that is not threatening the bio father with attorneys. That conversation that flew out between me, the father was in the house,
KKC.
his sister was on the phone. We asked them to take that down. That goes back to one of the questions as far as one of the things we all agreed not to do, because even with law enforcement, it says it could portray a bad look. So we all agreed not to do it.
So he says that law enforcement told them do not do any fundraising because it portrays a bad look. And good point. Good point. Cookie said the dogs wouldn't bark. Sounds like he came from outside. If he was inside, there'd be no reason for dogs to be alarmed in the first place.
She did it anyways. And then we asked her politely to take it down first time. She got nasty with us on the phone. And then I retaliated and I told her, I said, if this causes harm to our son, you can bet I will call an attorney.
Why would a GoFundMe cause harm to his son, to their son? Hey, Steven. Why would a GoFundMe cause harm to their son? I don't get that.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Let's see. Was Sebastian playing with one of his devices online or on his Switch before he went to bed? Annabelle Roma asked.
None of his devices are connected to online.
Okay. All right.
None of his devices are connected to online. You heard it.
And Kiko asked, was he having trouble at school with anyone? Or was he being bullied that you're aware of?
Not that we know of. The administrators that work with him are honestly pretty great, and they try to pay attention and be aware not only for Sebastian but all of those kids. So they do their best to make sure that everyone's treating them respectfully and vice versa.
So she says no bullying at school and that the administrator's on it.
Not to say that, kids are kids, but for the most part, they feel pretty confident that they do a pretty good job at taking care of the kids.
Okay. And Ginger Snaps wants to know, how long did it take him to take out the trash? Could he have met someone when he was taking out the trash?
Only a couple minutes.
Our driveway's not very long. I think our driveway might be 50 feet, maybe 75 feet long, and that's from front to back.
Okay, and guys, we're approaching midnight, so I'm not going to be able to take very many more questions because I still have a few that I need to get to. So I may not be able to get to all of your questions, but the ones
No,
that I've
the
already been
mattress has
submitted from
not
this
been
point on, I'm going to try to get to. I see
addressed yet.
there's a lot of questions that we've already answered. So,
Chris, has
'cause of
Jordan's
course,
devices been took?
Say again, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
The devices in the home, have they all been looked at by law enforcement?
Devices.
Yes, ma'am, they have. And I believe if they go and look in that TBI news link that I was talking about, it may be listed as Amber Alert updates or something of that nature. There's a section in that news article that does talk about technology, and that should be able to answer those questions. But to answer yours, yes, everything has been thoroughly looked at in our house as well as the father's house. Excuse me.
okay, and where's Summer 1-800-TBI Find ask, did Sebastian have bad meltdowns with any anger? With the meltdowns that that he had recently, being this age now?
I mean, I don't know what you call a bad meltdown. I mean, was he a violent kid? No. Um, did he cry? Did he have a temper tantrum? Yes.
Okay. And he did take his eyeglasses with him. They were not found, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And True Crime Cafe with Dago said, with all due respect, was he anxious one way or the other to be
How
moving in
convenient,
with his
darkness.
bio dad?
Like I said before, yes. I mean, he was ups and downs about it. There was days he was happy, days he's not. Um, one of the things I'll tell you right now that he doesn't like, his dad's a smoker. You know, he doesn't like that his dad smokes. So, I mean, he's like, no, I don't want to because my dad smokes. But
See, I believe this. Like, he probably did complain about the smoking. My kids did too. Thank you so much, Jess N, for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome to the Clickers, Mr. Ken, Kitty World, Natalie Scanlon, Kim French. Welcome, guys.
after you
He
talk
did say somebody gave him the mattress. He did, Heidi. He did. You're right. He did.
with him, you know, that's not a valid reason not to be moving in with his father.
Someone asked, Happy Hemp Creations, how do you redirect any meltdowns that he has?
Good question.
Depends on who he's with. Every parent handles him very much differently. Um,
It depends who he's with. Every parent, he only has 3 of them, but every parent handles Sebastian differently. Hi, Laura from South Florida. I hope you're staying cool. It is hot out there.
Sometimes you can just give him a pressure hug with light squeezing and talk to him calmly and calm him down. And
A pressure hug? A pressure hug? He did. He did, Glitter. He told Nancy Grace somebody gave him the mattress.
You know, that's not a valid reason not to be moving in with his father.
Someone asked Happy Hemp Creations, how do you redirect any meltdowns that he has?
Depends on who he's with. Every parent handles him very much differently.
sometimes you can just give him a pressure hug with light squeezing and talk to him calmly and calm him down. And other times you can tell him to go to his room because that's his space, and tell him to take 5.
I mean, there's times where me and him go outside and we'll have a discussion. Like, tell me what's on your mind, dude. I give you free reign. Talk to me. Let it out. I don't care what it is. Just say it. If that's what helps you, say it.
Because he doesn't want to say a curse in front of Mama.
Yeah, he that's one thing he's been good about.
He doesn't want to say a curse word in front of Mama, she says.
I was like, look, don't ever do it in front of your mom. That's all I'm asking. But if you and I go out somewhere and you want to do it, I'll give you
Give him
no consequences. I'll give you some time to do your thing. And he does it. He'll cry. He'll get all of his thoughts and his feelings out.
Wait, what?
And he'll cry, and then he'll give me a big old hug and say, I'm sorry, and I love you. We hug it out. I'm like, it's all right, buddy. Trust me. Everybody's got to have an outlet.
What? Chris was Sebastian's outlet? It was weird. Weird.
He doesn't want to say a curse in front of Mama.
Yeah, he that's one thing he's been good about. I was like, look, don't ever do it in front of your mom. That's all I'm asking. But if you and I go out somewhere and you want to do it, I'll give you
Give him
no consequences. I'll give you some time to do your thing.
So when did he take Sebastian out somewhere? Yeah, what kind of outlet? What are they talking about? Fucking weird.
And he does it. He'll cry. He'll get all of his thoughts and his feelings out, and he'll cry, and then he'll give me a big old hug and say, I'm sorry, and I love you. We hug it out. I'm like, it's all right, buddy. Trust me. Everybody's got to have an outlet.
But we tell him, like, if you need to yell and scream or be angry, just say, I need a minute to do that. And then, whatever you say during that time frame, you don't get in trouble for it.
Oh, so in other words, they said, oh, just take a few minutes and scream and get it all out. You're not going to get in trouble for what you say during this time frame.
And if you got to curse, you got to curse, but only when you're doing the free time. That way it sets a limitation so that he's not just, free balling all the time with curse words.
When he's with his father.
Free balling all the time with curse words? But didn't Seth say his first word was a curse word? Ooh, good question, Ken Dalton. Ken Dalton, you look good with that lava lamp next to your name, by the way.
Father that I know of that we've all discussed. They'll go fishing. They like to do a lot of fishing. And that's where he has his moments with his dad and they have their discussions. So, I mean, like I said, it varies with each parent.
If they always went fishing, why does Seth not have any pictures of them fishing together? Why is it always fishing? But the only picture we have of Sebastian fishing is when he was little and he was with Katie and Chris. I never saw any pictures of him and Seth fishing. What were they fishing for? I didn't know. I never heard of pressure hugs before. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. Never takes photos. It's just kind of weird that he wouldn't have any recent photos if they hung out together like that.
Okay.
Ken.
David Bryant sent a super chat and he has a question, and I'm not sure why this even applies, but I'm going to ask it. David Bryant says, CP said, let questions fly. So, Katie, did you have an active dating profile at the time Sebastian went missing? Any sort of dating profile? I'm not sure.
I don't actually have a problem answering that. I've never had a dating profile.
I hope that helps, David Bryant.
Hmm.
And then True Crime Cafe with Dago says, how often does your daughter get to visit Chris respectfully? I've seen a lot of comments in this chat tonight saying that you did not want your daughter and Sebastian to be around each other. And I'm just not sure where that's coming from. Can you talk to me about that?
Sure. I got no
Okay.
problem. So I have a
Okay.
parenting plan with my ex-wife. I get her every other year on spring breaks. I get her in the summers. Um, and I get her like we split the Christmas time frame.
Okay.
Okay, so they split the Christmas time frame and he gets her every summer. So he would probably be getting Faith right about now. That's my dog. That's Summeroo. She is. She's watching everything and she's side eyeing too because she's like, what is going on with these people? Hmm. So every summer, so he would have her right now, right?
My parenting plan um, is very much like the mom's with her ex-husbands. The only difference between the two is he lives here. So, and we have a great relationship with each other. So it's easy to be like, hey, can I have you this weekend? This weekend? Sure, man, whatever. It's not like it's turmoil between everybody.
Okay, because I was noticing that there were comments saying that the reason Sebastian was going to live with Seth is because your daughter is coming to move in with you and that you don't want your daughter around Sebastian. And I just wanted to get clarification on that.
Whoever feels or believes, if you've got proof of that, please show it to me. I'll be happy to address it. But I'll tell you right now, I don't have custody of my daughter like that. I wished I did. Um, Sebastian going to his father's has nothing
No, they met in the Navy, Ken. He met Nina on a dating site.
to do with my daughter at all.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Um,
I will say, like everybody out there, thank you for the questions. I'm glad that we can help clear some of this out. Um, I've told everybody online, like, look, I'm respectful, I'm direct, and I'm brash, but
I'm a black and white
ask the
kind of
question,
guy.
I'll get to them and I'll answer them the best of my ability. There are thousands and millions of people, but there's only 3 of us, and we are doing our best to being able to address people as we can.
okay. And the reason I was asking because Alicia P had made the comment, the problem is you're seeking custody of your daughter. And if you don't want Sebastian around your daughter, just how was that going to work, Chris? Because now Sebastian is missing. That's why people want to know. So
Hey,
that was why I asked.
no, I understand, and I can see where people's correlations are trying to put 1 and 2 together. Unfortunately,
Right.
it's 2 different puzzles.
Okay.
Um, my case with my
2 different
ex-wife,
puzzles.
that is a whole totally different situation. Um, at some point, eventually, I can let that out. Right now, that's still in an ongoing court battle. Um, and to be honest with y'all, because of all of this with Sebastian, it has actually caused some issues in that court case, which
It's all
unfortunately
good,
it is
Ken.
what it is. Um, and hopefully I'll have some good news and I'll let you guys know. Hopefully something here soon.
Okay.
Chris, can it be verified that you were in Memphis?
Yes, very much. Very much.
Can it be verified you were in Memphis? Yes, very much. What kind of answer is that? It's either yes or no. Yes, very much.
What is law enforcement allowing you all to do to look for Sebastian?
Anything we can as long as it does not hinder the investigation. So if people want more specifics, we've got flyers that are going out anywhere and everywhere we can put them out. We actually were able to get some like yard signs, kind of like the signs that go in the yard for kind of like real estate agents. We got some of
Yeah.
those missing. We got those put out, spread all out the state. Some in different states itself: Alabama, Mississippi, a few in Kentucky, all the way up to Louisville. I believe we even got some down in Georgia.
Flyers that we've put out.
Flyers. We got flyers that travel throughout various states, billboards throughout the entire state of Tennessee.
We have flyers that travel throughout various states. And they have billboards throughout the entire state of Tennessee.
Let's see, I can tell you that I've seen 7 from Nashville to Memphis that I can confirm.
He's seen 7 billboards from Nashville to Memphis.
But we're also out and about.
But we do have, we are like feet on the ground looking. We're constantly trying to think of different ways. We're reaching out in various positions, and people might be able to bring something to the table that we don't know about. There are some companies out there that are amazing.
And foundations that work with missing children. We've been reaching out to them as well.
She said foundations for missing children. We've been reaching out to them as well.
Yeah, I know that you've been working with the Aware Foundation. I do a lot of work with them. So
Well, them and EquiSearch, the National Center, the Class Foundation, just to name a couple.
yeah, the Class Foundation is a great foundation.
The Class Foundation, they're working with the Poly Class Foundation. I thought that Poly Class's dad wrapped that up.
I did want to let you know that if you reach out to Lamar Media, they're a billboard company, and sometimes they will provide free billboards for children that are missing too if you reach out to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll definitely get that looked into.
And I did
forgot-
send you that link, Katie, but I will send it again to you after the live stream to make sure that you have it.
Individually, what do you all think should happen as to the person if somebody abducted Sebastian?
That is not for us to determine. That is
Okay, the classic question of what you ask someone who might be a suspect. What do you think should happen to the person if they abducted Sebastian? Now, what they say is that when people are guilty, they won't want to say the worst possible punishment. He says that is not for us to determine. Now, it is up to you to have an opinion when your child is missing. If someone took them, someone would say the worst penalty. Like, I want them punished to the most severe penalty of the law.
Abducted Sebastian.
that is not for us to determine. That is, if somebody has Sebastian, all I'm going to say is that is nothing that we want to be a part of until that is legal. That is law enforcement agency. That has nothing to do with us. We just
They go to jail, so I don't.
mom's saying she better hope they go to jail.
Well,
I will
Better hope they go to jail. And he laughs.
They go to jail, so I don't.
Mom's saying she better hope they go to jail.
Well,
I will
I will
agree
say
with
what
you.
I think should happen. I think that their ass needs to be passed around the jail like a goddamn honey bun.
Well, I trust me. I have my own personal opinion.
Passed around the jail like a honey bun.
They go to jail, so I don't.
Mom's saying she better hope they go to jail.
Well,
I will
I will
agree
say
with
what
you.
I think should happen. I think that their ass needs to be passed around the jail like a goddamn honey bun.
Well,
I think she said, they go to jail, so I don't, or something like that. It meaning like she's gonna handle it herself.
trust me. I have my own personal opinions, but
All I have to say is they better pray they go to jail before I get my hands on them if I find out someone's hurting my baby.
They better hope they go to jail before I get my hands on them if I find out someone's hurting my baby.
all
Very
I'm going
good
to say is we have a legal system, and let them go through that aspect of it. And in the end, karma has a name. It will come around and show its face, and eventually they will have to answer for what they've done.
Truecom Cafe with Dago said, "Are there any abandoned or empty homes in your area close to you?"
There's a construction, another subdivision that's building right next door to our subdivision. All of those houses and everything over there have been thoroughly searched. Um, I couldn't tell you how many times over. Our entire subdivision has been scoured. Our neighbors, everybody around us has opened their homes willingly, and worked with law enforcement. So, I mean, barns, everything got checked.
I
There's
did have
houses.
one. I did have one question. Um, I saw where a dog had tracked Sebastian sent to a construction site. Have they dug that site up to see if there was any sign of Sebastian there?
The law enforcement and every search agency and everybody that's been involved has scoured that place up and down, in and out. There was a pond that was mentioned, a retention pond. It was only knee deep. They did drain it, and they have found nothing.
That reminds me of another question.
All right. So one thing that has stayed consistent was the scent to the construction pond. That has stayed consistent in how they like searched it, drained it, and didn't find anything.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I know you've already answered that they took your devices. The computer and stuff that Sebastian used at his biological dad's, did they take that as well?
Yes, ma'am. Everything has been completely between both households. Everything has been extremely thoroughly scanned, reviewed, everything.
Okay, well, that's good to know they took the devices from his bio dad's house too.
And if they want to come back and get more devices, like I said, we've opened this house up to everything. If they want it, they come and get it. There's no hesitations, and off they go.
Okay, and you and Katie have been out to do some searches yourself and hang up flyers. Is that true? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we have. We've gone out numerous places and hung up flyers. We've gotten with motorcycle chapters and groups and gotten them on board to help us. We've gone from various cities to cities. Um, I personally have gone from Nashville to Memphis and into Mississippi and back.
And did they also take the devices from the school as well that Sebastian may have used when you said they took all the devices from your house and from the bio dads? Did they also take the school devices as well to look at?
Sebastian didn't have devices that he had at school,
Mhm.
but anything and everything, if he had something, has already been scanned and thoroughly searched.
It's already been scanned and thoroughly searched. That's why they still have it 101 days later. Okay. But he did have an iPad. It's on the high school website that they had school issued iPads. Natalie says, I'm still waiting on the DNA results from Flowwood Pond. Yeah, no word on that yet.
And like I said, if you refer back to that TBI News link and the technology proportion, I believe all of that will answer all those questions.
Okay. All right. And Karen S. said, your dogs barked during your first TV interview. Wouldn't they have barked when Sebastian walked out the door?
No, because they know Sebastian. When they barked in the first interview,
Because a stranger was in the
a
house.
stranger was in the house.
They've been sitting right here the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said there was, they had asked you if there was any flashlights that were missing, and that prompted you to go look. Tell me about that. There were some
So,
questions about the flashlight, so I just wanted you guys to reiterate that.
right. So Sebastian had it's about a little 3 inch. If you think about the little keychain flashlights, that you used to find at vendor tables they give out for free, cheapies. It was something that he picked up at one of the local festivals. And so right now, we still to this date cannot find it. So we are assuming that he took it with him because it cannot be found
Okay. And how often does law enforcement update you guys?
very regularly.
Okay. Um, and Chris Black says, what about the initial press release where it was said that Sebastian liked to stay up late?
I don't remember hearing that,
I
but
don't either, but I just
um,
wanted to put that out there because I thought maybe I missed something.
well, I mean, if he, like I said, we said earlier, he's a typical teenager, so he will get up in the middle of the night. It's hard to say. I personally don't remember that being said in the interview, and I'm sorry, and I'm not doubting it, but I mean, he's a typical teenager. He'd get up, go get snacks, and go back to his room. So
He did regularly get up at night.
Mom's saying he regularly got up at night.
Where Summer wanted to
Hold on. He regularly got up at night? Is that what they said?
I don't remember hearing that.
I
But
don't either, but I just wanted to put that out there because I thought maybe I missed something.
well, I mean, if he, like I said, we said earlier, he's a typical teenager, so he will get up in the middle of the night. It's hard to say. I personally don't remember that being said in the interview, and I'm sorry. And I'm not doubting it, but I mean, he's a typical teenager. He'd get up, go get snacks, and go back to his room. So
He did regularly get up at night.
Mom's saying he regularly got up at night.
He regularly got up at night. He regularly got up at night. I never thought that he slept in the garage based on any neighbor or cousin calls. Megan, that's not where I got the thought that he slept in the garage. Not from that at all. We have no idea where the starting point is. According to Chris Proudfoot, it was right in the front yard.
Where Summer wanted to know what's Sebastian's favorite food, drink? Is it ice cream, chips?
He is a
Anything with sugar in it.
Anything with sugar.
favorite drink is probably a Yoo-hoo.
No, he takes chocolate milk over Yoo-hoo.
Oh well, okay. Well, chocolate drink, chocolate milk.
As
Yeah.
long as it's not the fat-free chocolate milk that the school switched to, because he's really upset that the school switched the chocolate milk to fat-free, and now he doesn't like it.
Who did Sebastian love the most out of everyone?
Okay. I don't know how you want to how I would answer that. But
One day
I mean,
yes,
he
one
may
day
not have had.
no. 5 minutes later, I mean, it just depends on when you ask him.
I mean, if I let him do if I take him and go do something cool, oh, I'm the hero. But when I'm getting on to him, Mom's the hero. When Dad takes him fishing, Dad's the hero. So I mean, he's got three parents that love him equally.
He's loved and loves all his parents. We all have our moments when we're not his
He's loved and loves all his parents, and we all have our moments
favorite too.
where we're not his favorite either.
He's a kid.
And True Crime Cafe with Dago says, has anyone else in the family ever threatened to have Sebastian removed or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And does loud noises or certain smells bother him? Just curious, if law enforcement approached him with sirens, will he run or melt down?
He doesn't like loud noises, but they've known about that from the beginning. So, like, if it's a song he likes, he can turn the volume up, but like fireworks, he can't stand that kind of noise. So,
He probably doesn't like yelling either.
he does have a sensitivity to sudden and loud noises, mostly.
Okay. And it said that he likes to hide in small places. Small places, can you give me an example of like what, where, like how small? Can you elaborate on that for us?
So he has a closet in his bedroom, and I mean, it's not a small closet. It's a good sized closet. He will get over and tuck into a corner in his closet
And play with his toys.
when he's playing with his toys or he's doing something he knows he's not supposed to.
When he's doing something he's not supposed to?
There's always a pile of Legos in the corner.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like this boy was going into a 2x2x2 space and hiding. I mean, he'd like to be in a secluded area.
Okay. Let's see. Beautiful Sunflower says, he said earlier he had his reason and they all agreed it was best that Sebastian not be around his daughter. And now he says that wasn't the issue. I'm confused by this statement. I guess I must have missed a part of that.
Well, to clarify what he said that he didn't have custody of his daughter, so that wasn't going to be an issue in regards to Sebastian going to live with his dad. That's not the reason why Sebastian was going to live with his dad, was so that his daughter could come and live with them.
Right. I guess I'm confused by some of these questions because I feel like it's, been answered. Let me see here. Some of these questions we have already discussed.
I can say this much. There are some screen names that I'm going to say sound familiar, and I'm going to swear on it. They sound very familiar, of people I've addressed on Facebook.
Okay.
the sunflower one, I'm not swearing 1,000% on this, but I believe I've chatted with her, and she
Okay.
asked me why I will not go and talk to JLR. First off, if this is the same lady that I've
Okay.
addressed, I am not going to people um, to go to a YouTube channel for somebody to make some money on, or I'm not seeking them out. If they want to talk to me, they know how to get in touch with me, just like everybody else.
Here she is, right
Our,
here.
our ultimate goal in the end is to bring our son home.
Thank you for clarifying that, beautiful sunflower. She said, I'm speaking of prior to his second time answering that question. He changed the answer, but it's okay. I appreciate you explaining that to me. I just didn't want to, I didn't want to mess that up. However you were wording that question, I wanted to make sure I was being clear about what I was asking. And by the way, guys, at midnight, I cut the questions off because I don't want to keep them here all night. So, but the questions that were submitted before that, we're going to wrap those up. And if Chris is willing, we can always come back and do a part 2 if there's other questions that you feel like didn't
Dutchie,
get answered.
Dutchie,
Yes,
um,
ma'am.
you got dragged through the mud for this question, so I'm going to ask it.
Okay.
How long have you and Katie known each other?
So my question to whoever's asking that is, what does that have to do with the investigation of our son?
He was asked, how long have you and Katie known each other? And he's like, what does that have to do with our son?
There you
Crickets?
go. I did get
Crickets?
people came for
Crickets?
me because I didn't
Crickets?
allow
Crickets?
somebody to ask that question because I didn't think it was pertinent to Sebastian being missing. But
Well, I mean, it really has no pertinent to the investigation or the fact that our son is missing. But like I said, I'm respectful, I'm brash, and I'm direct to the point.
I'm
To answer
respectful,
that
I'm
person's
brash, and I'm
question,
direct to the point.
I've been in Sebastian's life, half of his life. Sebastian's 15.
right. I just appreciate you being willing to talk with us and answer these questions. Now we've talked about the video. I just have to ask, did you
Mhm.
guys happen to see the interview on the behavioral panel where they took a look at your and Katie's interview on the news?
I have not. I believe the mom
Okay.
has made some views of it. I personally have not.
Okay.
Thank you, Kimmy.
Very much.
I
I think
understand.
I think since that has been out there.
She said, I haven't been online very much.
I just have to ask, did you
Mhm.
guys happen to see the interview on the behavioral panel where they took a look at your and Katie's interview on the news?
I have not. I believe the mom
Okay.
has made some views of it. I personally have not.
Okay.
I haven't been online very much.
I
I
understand.
think I think since that has been out there, we really haven't done a lot of viewing of kind of that stuff. We've been out there busy doing flyers, posters, um, signs. I mean, just, wow. But yeah,
Okay. Okay. And you said that he couldn't have gone out a window, that all of that was checked.
Okay, so he says some weird things like that. Like he says the mom, the biological father, but he also says the law enforcement. So is it just a Chrisism? It could be just a Chrisism. And in you too, Micro Kimmy. Happy Taco Tuesday to everyone.
And it did not appear that he had gone out a window. And do you guys have a lock on your refrigerator? I just wanted to put that to rest.
On the fridge.
oh, like on the refrigerator?
Yep. That's a
No.
question. Okay.
No. I mean, there's an alarm on the refrigerator when you leave the door open.
Yeah, I have one of those too that dings when you don't shut it all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that is, it looks like, there's a couple more questions. Some of the questions that are being asked
Thank
are
you,
actually
Heather.
questions that
That was
we
very
answered
sweet. Thank you.
previously in the live stream. We did ask Chris a whole set of questions, and I just invite people to please be kind and rewind to listen to the questions that
Thank
Chris
you
and
for
Katie
being
were
here,
asked.
Gentrex.
And we just appreciate you guys taking the
Bill
time to be
Waters, I'm
here
with you.
to talk
Can I
about
join you?
your son's disappearance and what you think may have happened, because this is a very scary situation. And we're 21 days into this now. We're 22 days. This is I just can't imagine in my mind where this young man could
I
be.
spy.
And you said to me, I think we had talked on a phone conversation, and we had talked about that construction site. And I did hear Seth on a interview state that the scent that the dogs picked up actually led to the outside of that construction site, which backs up to your neighborhood. What can you tell us? Can you tell us anything about
This will be
the
interesting.
scent dogs and where they might have tracked to,
Welcome,
and or
Laura.
anything of that nature? Is there any information that you need us to know about that?
Yes, there were tracking dogs. They did pick up a scent, and I couldn't tell you how many number of dogs because day one I knew of 5 dogs. By day 8, we had dogs from across the country coming in from North and South Carolina, Kentucky, all over the place. So I don't know how many dogs, but the scent was picked up. It does go into the construction site, and then it disappears. So they don't actually
Thank you for
know
being
what
here,
happens. They
Canadian.
just disappears.
Okay.
The tooth out. I guess it sounds like sometimes he doesn't have teeth in, some people say.
If there was anything that you could say to Sebastian, or if there is someone out there
Who has
who
him?
is with Sebastian, is there anything that you would want to say to them right now?
You mean if someone has my son?
Keep it PG.
Okay, so she says, you mean if someone has my son? And then Chris says, keep it PG.
I would say that this boy is loved and that he has a caring and loving home and that he belongs with us, with his family, with his parents. And that I'm never going to stop looking for him and I'm never going to stop until we're able to bring him home.
For myself, Sebastian, we miss you. All 3 of your parents do. We all want you back home. As soon as you can, come home. If somebody has him, please return him.
Wait, what?
Um,
Let's rewind that for a few seconds.
please return him. Don't hurt him. But we do want our son back.
When you can? What? Listen to
Who
this
is with
again.
Sebastian? Is there anything that you would want to say to them right now?
You mean if someone has my son?
Keep it PG.
I would say that this boy is loved and that he has a caring and loving home and that he belongs with us, with his family, with his parents. And that I'm never going to stop looking for him and I'm never going to stop until we're able to bring him home.
Your turn, Chris.
For myself, Sebastian, we miss you. All 3 of your parents do. We all want you back home. As soon as you can, come home. If somebody has him, please return him. Don't hurt him. But we do want our son back. Please.
Where Summer said maybe someone's seen him playing outside. If he played outside, that's why I want to know if he played outside. Maybe someone's seen him.
Sebastian wasn't very much, like, he didn't go outside very much. Most of the time, all the neighbors will tell you that they saw him. He was taking the trash out. He may have cut the grass. Last summer, he cut the grass every so often, but we were always home. But he's not really the I'm going to go outside just to go outside kind of kid.
He prefers to play inside.
Well, he prefers inside and playgrounds.
He prefers to play inside, and then he says, yeah, he prefers inside or playgrounds.
He does love playgrounds.
Catherine,
Hey, Megan, why are you here? That's the question of the day.
Fuck directly off.
I don't see any comments being deleted. We're just not taking any more questions after midnight. I don't really see anyone that's been blocked or anything. But if you have a problem, you can always send me an email at duchessforthemissing@gmail.com and let me know.
I've got to address this. I have not heard this family one time say that he was put outside in the dark as a punishment. Put
Wait,
outside in the dark.
somebody is saying that we would put our son outside in the dark as punishment?
Yeah, it was saying, so why put him outside in the dark as punishment? I've not heard that said. Sometimes when things are said like that, that's how speculation and rumors get started online. I've not heard him say that.
Wow.
That is very interesting. Hey, Josh, with the lab, thank you for being here. If there was a comment deleted, it may be because we asked for people not to discuss other creators in the chat. So if someone has mentioned another creator, we ask people not to discuss other creators in the live stream. So that comment may have been removed, but no one has been blocked
Well, I
that
believe.
I can tell. So,
Well, I believe looking at a comment here, Michelle Macklin and Beautiful Sunflower. We've got some comments up here saying that I brought up another group comment, which I did. Something that was in Trevor's and something about JLR. I did bring those up. So if I violated those rules, then I apologize. That was not, but I was just stating what
no,
I have
you're
seen that's
and,
out there and what has been brought to my
and you're
attention.
fine. And listen, if you want to talk to JLR, that is your prerogative. And if you don't want to talk to him, you're not required to. You don't have to be pressured into doing anything that you don't want to. If he reached out to you and you didn't respond to him, I mean, that's a personal decision for you to make. And I don't really have any particular stance on it. You're free to discuss with anybody that you feel like is going to help get the information out about your son. And that's why we're here, is to talk about Sebastian and to help get his information out there. We want to stick to the factual information because I don't think discussing things about your previous relationship or, making false accusations or just making assumptions that there aren't any facts to stand behind is helping to find Sebastian. When law enforcement tells me that somebody is a suspect or they give us more evidence to go on, then that's what I'm waiting for to happen. And everybody has the right to their own opinion, and everyone's welcome to share their opinion as long as they're respectful. And that's all that I ask here on my channel. And the mods have their explicit rules and they know what to do. And, and that's it. So,
if you don't mind, if I could just say something, please. I mean, and like I said, I'm direct, I'm brash, but I'm respectful at the same time. It's not about biting people's heads off. What I will say that I don't appreciate is how folks out there want to drag in personal family business amongst all three parents, their side of the family, my side of the family.
Guess what, Chris? That's what happens when you go to YouTube. And maybe you'll learn once you put yourself out there, then people want the whole story, the whole picture. Megan's gone. She gone. She was flung and slung. What's up, Crime Stories Obsessed? How are you? Beautiful Emma.
I mean, I'm sure there was stuff slung and slung and
YouTuber, because leave it up to YouTube, leave it up to YouTube. This is like my last straw. Like, every person that I meet on YouTube is the most up piece of like, leave it up to YouTube.
Family, it has no bearing on our son. We're a family. It's big. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have some dislikes. Every family out there is got the same. Working through them and becoming stronger as a family. That's what makes a family a family.
I told Megan to leave, and she did.
I don't mind people have their opinions. I don't mind their assumptions. Respectful.
He just said he doesn't like people speculating and all this, that, and the other. And then he's like, I don't mind assumptions. I don't mind opinions.
Give you the respect. In the end result for every bit of this is the exact same. To bring our son home safe and sound. And that's all we're asking. We love y'all. We pray for y'all. We got thoughts. Even if you don't like us, trust me, we still got love for you. And sometimes your questions may sound far-fetched, but believe it or not, it might be something that we can look at and say, hey, what about this? But it's not going on deaf ears. I promise y'all.
I did see a question just now.
He said it's not going on deaf ears, not deaf. It's not going on deaf ears.
That I was actually on my list to ask you, and it was when I had asked about what Sebastian was wearing, because people were saying, why are you just now saying that it's a long sleeve black t-shirt and not a black sweatshirt? And you guys had explained to me how that transpired and it didn't get changed. You had explained to them this is what he was wearing, but when they made the flyer, they put out the incorrect information and that you had asked them to update it, but they didn't immediately. And a lot of people were saying, well, they didn't even know what he was wearing. Tell me about that.
So we gave the description to all the law enforcement agencies out there. They took it and listed it. Now, keep in mind, let's think about the telephone game. You tell somebody something, they tell somebody something, it goes back, and by the time it comes back around to you, it is not what you initially started with. That is basically what happened. We told them verbatim was Sebastian went to bed wearing long black pants with white stripes down the side, um, a long sleeve shirt that had an image on the front, could have been of one of three things: Minecraft, Star Wars, or of Halloween depiction. His favorite three things. Now, somewhere along the way, that got changed, and somebody said it was a sweatshirt. Somebody said it was a hoodie. Somebody has said it's a T-shirt.
The initial description said sweatshirt, and I clarified that it was a long sleeve shirt.
Hi, Seth. Thank you so much for joining the chat. It's good to see you. I appreciate you being here. If you'd like to join us on panel, you're more than welcome to. We really just want to find
Seth came in the chat.
answers,
I
and we
had
really
no
just want
idea
to find
that happened.
Sebastian. And this channel is just a place for family members to be able to share any information, to clear up misinformation, and to get out the information to help bring their missing child or their missing loved one home. And I appreciate you being here. You have so many people that are praying for Sebastian, and we do have those billboards up, and we're going to hopefully maybe get another billboard up, maybe a third billboard. We've had so many wonderful people in this chat to support us keeping those billboards going for another week. And we're praying for all of you, because this can't be easy, and it's got to be very stressful. And all of these extra things that are going on can't really be helping. And Angela, you can express your opinions, but we will not allow people to just be harassing or to show blatant disrespect, doxing. We don't want people to
Mark.
talk badly about other creators. Those are just the general chat rules that
I totally forgot about that show. Mark Klein says he's got the comment of the day, y'all. Mark Klein says, I want Chrissy on the show. I'm not smarter than a fourth grader. No, seriously, the talk of all the food is very disturbing.
are the rules that are on every live stream. And we just ask people to be respectful of that. And we appreciate you being here. So if it goes against any of those rules, the moderators are there to help you answer any questions and to keep the chat a safe and friendly place to be able to discuss this case. So I appreciate you understanding. Yes, there is too many missing in Tennessee, and it's very difficult for these families. It's got to be very difficult.
Yes, I remember that show. It was so funny. That was so funny, Mark. I think it's Are You Smarter Than a Sixth Grader, though? Was it sixth grade or fourth grade?
See, Angel has a question. Why did Sebastian not go to his bio dad's house the weekend he went missing? Wasn't it his bio dad's weekend?
No.
Do you guys want to comment?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're okay to comment. If Seth is listening, he also can confirm this. So they have it every other weekend. And the weekend that he went missing, that was not his weekend to be at his dad's house. He was actually supposed to be at mom's house.
Okay.
Fifth, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
I just appreciate you coming and speaking with us to, tell us if there's, to clear up things, because I've seen all kinds of things on social media, and, and Trev Time, I appreciate you and the lab being here. I just wanted to go through the questions, let the chat be able to ask their questions. And of course, Crystal and Arctic Fox had questions that they wanted to ask. And I just appreciate Chris and Katie being willing to try to answer some of those questions, although some of them I'm not sure have a direct impact on what's happening with Sebastian going missing. But I hope that it helps to clear up some of the questions that people have. I did also see that another creator had asked a question, and I think they said they actually sent you a message, Chris, because they wanted to know when you first heard that Sebastian had gone missing, did it ever cross your mind that that Katie might have been involved?
Absolutely.
I wanted you to speak to that.
No, and that's fine. Absolutely not. I would not. There's nothing.
Which part, Granny?
None. Any of us.
Actually sent you a message, Chris, because they wanted to know when you first heard that Sebastian had gone missing, did it ever cross your mind that that Katie might have been involved?
Absolutely.
I wanted you to speak to that.
No, and that's fine. Absolutely not. I would not. for I there's nothing in me, nothing I would ever think that the mother had anything to do with this, or the father for that matter. None of
Right.
his parents, none, any of us would have ever done anything to Sebastian to do this, remotely conjure up. No way, no. This boy has got so much love. That right there kind of hurts me a little bit to think that somebody would think that I would suspect my wife of having ill intent, and that's no.
Speak to that.
No, and that's fine. Absolutely not. I would not. For I, there's nothing in me, nothing I would ever think that the mother had anything to do with this, or the
Cross your mind that that Katie might have been involved.
This is on
And I wanted
slower
you
absolutely.
to
speed, guys.
I wanted you to
Well,
speak to that.
no, and that's fine. Absolutely not. I would not. For I, there's nothing in me, nothing I would ever think that the mother had anything to do with this, or the father for that matter. None of
Right.
his parents, none, any of us would have ever done anything to Sebastian to do this, remotely conjure up. No way, no.
Wait, what? Conjure up? No one even said anybody was conjuring up. What?
Actually sent you a message, Chris, because they wanted to know when you first heard that Sebastian had gone missing, did it ever cross your mind that that Katie might have been involved? And
Absolutely.
I wanted you to speak to that.
No, and that's fine. Absolutely not. I would not. For I, there's nothing in me, nothing I would ever think that the mother had anything to do with this, or the father for that matter. None of
Right.
his parents, none, any of us would have ever done anything to Sebastian to do this, remotely conjure up. No way, no. This boy has got so much love. That right there kind of hurts me a little bit to think that somebody would think that I would suspect my wife of having ill intent, and that's no, no.
Very, very weird answer to the question. And that is a common question, for like law enforcement to ask. That and like, what would you want the punishment to be? If someone took Sebastian and, now they were just asked if Katie had anything to do with it or, whatever the question was. And he said it hurts him a little bit. Welcome, Kim. Thanks for being
And
here.
I respect that. I respect that, Seth. I understand. And yeah, I think some of these questions are not about finding Sebastian either.
Okay, so then Seth says, Chris has already asked. I am not joining on the phone call. I just think some of these questions are not about finding Sebastian. It wasn't my weekend.
But these are the questions that people are here and asking. So we just wanted to get through those and hopefully be able to put that aside so that we can focus on bringing Sebastian home. Terry Dean said, had Sebastian ever played or been interested at the construction site before?
No, he's never gone to that construction site. We have drove around the construction site in the car, but no, he's never been on foot. He's never wandered over there. Um,
Wait a minute. He's driven around the construction site with Sebastian in a car? Why?
I mean, I understand where they're going with that, but no, unfortunately, there's not any chance that he would have that kind of interest. But then again, at the same time, dog scents were found in the construction zone, and then they disappear. I mean,
They disappear. So we have the scent going to the pond, Max diving in the pond, but Chris drove Sebastian around the construction site in a car.
it's hit or miss.
Okay.
Hit or
And
miss.
you had told me that you both had, when you're able to, you get out there and try to do searches. You have been putting up flyers. Are you planning to continue to search in the future? Are you going to organize any type of search yourself to help find him? Because there's people in the chat that are wanting to come and help. So will you be letting people know if there's going to be any other organized searches for the community?
Yes.
Okay, so I know that there's people that drive around and look at new builds and stuff, but your kid's not missing and his scent wasn't last in the construction site. You get what I'm saying? It's not weird to drive around a construction site. It's weird that your kid's missing, his scent is at the construction site, and you're saying you drove around there with him and he gone.
So, I mean, we're not opposed to that.
Okay.
The father, Seth, he does that all the time. We go out and we don't organize big groups. To give you an example, like this weekend, somebody's like, well, you guys run your motorcycles. Well, yeah, we went to a motorcycle rally, a spring opener, passed out flyers. You'd be surprised on how far and wide the motorcycle community can pull together and spread that word.
Okay, so it's funny because Chris allegedly had nothing to do with the motorcycle run, right? I don't think, Kimmy, that anybody's pulled off a conspiracy type of crime. It's only been 3 months. We still might see charges. I don't think there's any perfect crime, and I definitely don't think these 3 could pull one off.
Dad, Seth has worked on it and his end up in Clarksville. He's got guys that he's working with. Excuse me. We have folks down here that we work with. Um, I mean, we help people want to help. I mean, we ask them, they're like, hey, I'm going out this far. Do you have flyers? Sure do. We'll hand them a stack of flyers and, they're outgoing. Seth does his part of it. And trust me,
Trust me.
I mean, it's an ongoing thing. If somebody wants to like try to put together an organized group, we're not opposed to it.
Trev, I just saw your comment and I wanted to say thank you. And we have some if you need them.
She said, Trev, I saw your comment and we have some if you need them.
And Seth says he does like heavy equipment too.
Yeah, so a little quick story. I rented a mini excavator and needed to use it to do a project around the house. We were doing some landscaping, and I actually put Sebastian on the equipment, explained to him how this works and whatnot like this, and he actually was able to take the bucket and put it within inches of the foundation of the house and help pull out some of the root balls without ripping out the irrigation lines in the landscaping. So I mean, he's good at it. He's real good.
I appreciate that, Trev, time for you to go out there and put up flyers. It really takes a team effort, and I appreciate everyone that is covering Sebastian. And Thought Criminal, I did see your post of asking about the ex, but I don't really think the ex this doesn't really pertain to Sebastian missing. So that is the only reason why I haven't addressed that. Kinky Ad said, why not ask Katie if she suspected Chris? It's her bio son. And I think they just clarified that all of the parents agree. And of course, we do have Seth in chat. And you did say, Chris, all 3 of you agree that none of the parents are involved in the disappearance of Sebastian. Seth, if you want to comment in the chat, you certainly are free to speak and say whatever you feel. Katie, obviously you said you weren't even in town, but Katie, did you have anything that you suspected when this happened? Did you immediately say, well, I think so-and-so might have something to do with it?
Honestly, no. I mean, my husband was out of town and had been for a while, and even if he wasn't, I don't think for a second he would ever hurt him. And if his dad wanted him, he wouldn't have to take him. He'd just call and say, "Hey, I want to pick my son up." And I'd say, "Okay, what time?" And, the only stipulation is that we don't miss school. So, I mean, I wouldn't have thought anything about that either because we have,
Do you think that's true? Do you think that Seth could have called and said, "Hey, I want to come get Sebastian on my day off," and it would be just cool, like that's how they roll? Yeah, trust me, honestly, all of those are kind of red flags. When you have to say trust me or honestly or I have integrity, you usually don't have those things. You're usually not very honest, you know.
know, our own differences, but that doesn't matter. When it comes to Sebastian, we're pretty good about, hey, I want to have him this weekend or I've got this thing going on. And like we juggle and change weekends sometimes if we've got something that we want to do or vice versa. So, no.
They make it sound like they work so well together. They have the perfect little setup between their two households, which is all BS.
No.
Kinky Ad said, how did Katie not notice him in the kitchen when she didn't find him in bed and then said she thought maybe he was making breakfast, that your room is by the kitchen?
Yes. But he liked to dip around walls and he did his little sneaky thing.
He liked to dip around walls and be sneaky.
I understand. The lab said, did they say why they didn't go to the vigil?
Yes. So somebody asked me that before, and I responded on Facebook, and it's okay. So the very first vigil that was going on, and actually, I think I said there was three, and when that actually was four. They did a vigil down here at the stop sign inside of our subdivision. It was inside our neighborhood. Did a small one. At the time, we were still dealing with law enforcement, and we didn't go. Then the Long Hollow Baptist Church down here on Long Hollow Pike, they held one. At the time, we were still with law enforcement answering questions. All three parents were. We did have a representative go and speak on our behalf. The third one, which a young lady organized, and originally they were going to try to do something here in the community without discussing it with us, without talking with anybody. And all the neighbors had a concern because, like I said, it's a small community.
There's no parking.
There was no parking, so we addressed it to go to the high school, which they gladly moved it. But there were some security issues. We got with law enforcement. So the dad did show up. We did not. Um,
What is this about? What is this about? 3 vigils. What? They were with law enforcement, so they couldn't go to one, and then they had to get with law enforcement about security issues. Why would there be security issues? Why would there be security issues at a missing kids vigil? Kimmy, I don't understand either.
and then on this last one was up in Clarksville, and that's up in the
The last one was up in Clarksville. When did they have a vigil in Clarksville? I don't either, Canadian. It's weird.
Clarksville area. That's where dad lives. So, I mean, I think that was put on more for the dad and everything in his community up there, which supports him. Um, but I mean, that answers that question.
True Crime Cafe with Dago says, could there be anyone out there at all that has ill will toward either side of the family? And then I did see someone right up above that say, well, Seth works, in law enforcement. Could this be something like that's coming back because he works in law enforcement? Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, no.
Terry Dean says parents in this situation are damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Amen.
Lab said, fair enough. Thanks for answering me. You're welcome, Josh. Thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate it. I've kept you guys long enough, and I really appreciate you coming over on this live stream and being willing to have a conversation with us and being willing to answer these questions. So if you decide that you want to come back and answer some more questions or please let me know. And we're going to continue to keep these billboards up as long as we can. And I'll continue to share information about Sebastian. And if there's anything that we can do, you have lots of people in this community that just want to help bring your son home safely. Please let us know how we can best support to your family. And that goes for you too, Seth, if you're out there listening. I can't imagine what you're going through, but just know that you have a lot of people out here that are praying for you and praying for Sebastian to come home safe. And I just want to thank you for your time. And I want to thank all of the members and the subscribers that donated. You really mean so much for being here and being willing to donate to keep these billboards going for Sebastian. And I just want to thank Miss Curvy and Amy in Boston, Stevie, Linda Williams, David Bryant, Devil Eyed Elvis, Go Titans 82.
Wait, Devil Eyed Elvis. Let's see what they said. Does this guy take a class? What does it say?
The support to your family. And that goes for you too, Seth, if you're out there listening. I can't imagine what you're going through, but just know that you have a lot of people out here that are praying for you and praying for Sebastian to come home safe. And I just want to thank you for your time. And I want to thank all of the members and the subscribers that donated. You really mean so much for being here and being willing to donate to keep these billboards going for Sebastian. And I just want to thank Miss Curvy and Amy in Boston, Stevie, Linda Williams, David Bryant, Devil Eyed Elvis, Go Titans 82. Thank you for multiple super chats, the 5K Canes. Thank you so very much. All of this is going to go to keeping Sebastian's billboard live for another week.
Hey, Brown Eyed.
And maybe we can have another conversation. I do have other things going on. I work during the week, but maybe we can schedule up something and get some more of these questions answered. If there's anything that we haven't covered, you can always send me an email, and you can always message me on Facebook Messenger if there's information that you need about this case. And it sounds like there's a lot of people that are local to you, Chris, that are very interested in Sebastian's case, that want to help search, that want to hang up flyers. And I think that's wonderful because it really takes a village to be able to have people come together to help find a missing child. And we don't want this case to go cold. We want to be able to bring Sebastian home as soon as possible. So please stay in touch with me and let me know if there's anything that we can do to help.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to close out with, Chris, before you leave us?
Yes. Those that want to help, please feel free to reach out to me. You know, everybody finds me on Facebook. Send me a message. Like I said, there's thousands of people, and there's one or two of us. And, you know, Seth, he's not really on social media that much, but so we're trying to answer as much as we can. But we love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Our prayers and our thoughts go out to you and your families as well.
Thank you.
You're able to
You know,
flyer and keep his face out there.
Absolutely. We will keep sharing his flyer, and we just encourage everyone that's watching this live stream or that may be watching this live stream on the replay.
All right. That's going to be a wrap, guys. That's going to be a wrap. That was interview number 4. Number 4. I can't wait to get it, Myron. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys, it's a lot to take in, but I'm taking notes. So we're going to go over these after we go through the interviews. We're going to go through the notes. Yeah, I've got to wrap it up today. I've got guests. So I am tied up until tomorrow. But tomorrow night, we will do our call-in show. I'm a free woman tomorrow night, so I will see you guys at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wonderful Wednesday call-ins. Oh, I won't forget the credits. Here we go. This is for you, Myron. The credits. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for your support. I'll see you guys tomorrow for call-ins. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further?
Bring it all in.
And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems.
Bye, guys.
I don't give a damn.
I don't know.
You're what the French call les incompétents.
About you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be, you wanna be, you wanna be. Stand up! You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling.
Why are people such idiots?
Plans to get to friends, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
About Cadillacs.
Don't want Jennifer or
on coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back.
I don't want Jennifer or two Jennifer.
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Jennifer loves horses. Bye, Jennifer.